Haye. Haye kot. And Sadef Uma. Lucky? Toko hape. Obo Ibrahim? Obo Ibrahim? Obo Ibrahim? Me. Kana kapte?
Kastika wudu.
Kana harka kapte?
Bokku kon kabadda mo kanan kabadda gane.
Kuni clippi kota mo yok abate gari.
Yeah. Nin kabadda.
Kana.
Kasi. Nagam hay. Naga bultani. Waga nagam bultani. Atauga. Anu maguya la chualingon. Giyo kabab. Wagni nagano shi nagano awoshu. Dubate argatu waaqayyoon waa godhu fayyaaf nagaan waa kennu alaama naannoo haa tiksu han dhalate haa guddatu han guddate haa bulu hayyee yaa waaqa tokkicha waaqa gurraacha waaqa oromoo waaqa bokkuu sibiilaa waaqa shanan gadaa waaqa sagaltaman garbaa waaqa sargan booranaa waaqa ciicoo gurraattii waaqa siiqqee hayyuu waaqni nagaadhaan nu jiraachistee walitti nu fidde hooqubaan si haa ga'u hooqubaan si haa ga'u hooqubaan si haa ga'u gaaddisni gaaddisa nagaa ta'u gaaddisni gaaddisa jaalalaa ta'u gaaddisni gaaddisa dhugaa ta'u dhugaan hawaaqa haa ta'u fayyaaf nagaan waa kennu han dhalate haa guddatu han guddate haa bulu warra oolee bulu sinaa godhu waaqni warra jaalalaa walitti dhufe sinaa godhu warri waaqayyo saba keenya haa yaadatu fayyaaf nagaa kennuuf sabni keenya han bilisoome haa ta'u fayyaaf nagaa argadhaa.
يا ربي قويا رانتنا خاست ولين نقبه قويا نجات نها أولج نجا نها خن ومن خين نجا خد أتابيتين خيستي نجا هابو صوفي قرتي موتم ما رفتنا اللي تين نها قر يا ومن لفاخي ركوتو كملة لفان كانتي تنكتل لفاخي سنيف ummata kana bira dhaabbannee ummata keenya kanatti gartee foca'ee namni dhugumatti ani rabbiin kana dhajichaan dhufe immoo guniin biyya dhaqeen dhufe arke an takkaa oromoo karaara dhaabbatee sadaqaa kadhatu agarree yaa rabbii kiyya ummata saniif nagaya godhi nuti as tetteenyee ka gaarii jiru gaarii jiraanda yaa rabbi warra biyya keessa beelawee rakkatee buqqa'ee gartee mana dhabee ala dhadhaabbatu saniif bakka godhi yaa rabbii keenya yaa guddaa dhugumatti si kadhanna خدعة قدّا نتسي بينا ملء خرنا برام بينو ربي قدّته بينا ملء خرا برام بينو أمني خيني سملء وان برام بيخو يا ربي أمته خيني برد عبدلو نقر قاري بحق سبحان ربك
nagaan waaqayyoo hunda keessaniif haa baay'atu yaada keenya walitti sassaabne wanta addana jirruuf wanti addana jirru saba keenya immoo yeroo jennu sabi keenya saba biyya lafaati saba keenya irratti yeroo xiyyeeffannu ummata biyya lafaatiif irratti xiyyeeffannaa jechuudha nama uumama wanta ta'eef mirga yeroo jennu mirga namaa yeroo jennu yoo saba kana irratti ituu saba kana iyyuu ituun ta'in saba kana keessaa baanee irra iyyuu ituun ta'in ituu saba garbiraa taanee dhaabbanneef iyyuu sabaaf dhaabbanna wanta ta'eefi ummata kana immoo beenna ummati kun immoo maal akka ta'e beenna safuu isaa beenna aadaa isaa beenna jaalala inni qabu beenna akkaataa jireenya isaatii beenna akka qorattootaatti kana xiyyeeffannee beenna hundumti keenya kanaaf saba kanaaf yeroo dhaabbannu saba biyya lafaatiif dhaabbannaa jechuudha. Yaa Waaqayyo saba kanaaf kana keessatti wanta nu uumteef galanni siif haa ta'u. Saba Oromoodhaaf dhaabbachuudhaaf carraa wanta nu laatteef ulfaadhu. Yaa Waaqayyo tokkummaa keenya jabeessi. Wanta yaannu wanta hojjennu akka atitti nu uumtetti karooraan bilisummaadhaaf akka atitti nu uumte sanatti yeroo nu uumte akka atti nu uumte sanatti sabi kunis akka atti si beeku sanatti sanaaf akka dhaabbannu nu gargaari. Eenyummaa keenya keessaa nu baasi. Emotionii keenya keessaa nu baasi. Yaada garaa garaa keessaa nu baasi. Tokkummaa keenya nu jabeessi. Saba biyya lafaatiif dhaabbanna wanta ta'eef Waaqayyo isin haa eebbisu.
Galatoma Obbo Lami Adesahai and Umma. Now we're going to continue our program. Today we have a really interesting range of panels, and our first panel is going to be exploring international instruments and institutions and their previous role or what their future role should be in Oromia and Ethiopia. So I would like to call on the presenters, please, to come and join me, and the moderator, who is Sura Benti. She's replacing Henok Gabisa.
Atamultan, everyone. Good morning. My name is Suraventi, and I'm presenting the first panel of today. The panel is the role of international institution and instruments, and the first panelist will be Obo Amsalu Darge Maesa. He's an experienced attorney, researcher, and educator. He holds an LBB degree from Awasa University, LLM in Human Rights Law from the AAU, and another LLM in American Law at the University of New York. He's a recipient of Civil Society Leadership. He's a recipient of the Civil Society Leadership Award. This is a full scholarship awarded by Open Society Institute and International Scholars Award. Amsalu was a project manager at the Center of Human Rights and Democracy housed at Addis Ababa University, Ethiopia. He has also been a lecturer of law at Ambu University School of Law and a public prosecutor Justice Bureau of Oromia. He has authored book and published multiple articles in a peer-reviewed international local journal. So please give a warm welcome to Abba Amsalu.
Akabultan. I would like to thank you, Kulani, for accepting my paper and give me this opportunity. And I've got Dagalato Minjadani, Matadreni, Ethiopia's responsibility to protect. and the story of the Oromo people jedha. Akkuma title isaarratti ilaaltanii yookiin sorry. Akkuma title isaa ilaaltanii why international institutions and instruments and the role of the international community in the protection and promotion of human rights, especially averting the mass atrocities when countries were failed to protect the human rights as a national arena. So trying to bring up some sort of interesting topics in relation to the current situations undergoing in Ethiopia. So Kanafi R2P concept, this idea is a current and it's still an emerging idea or notions. Still they're working on it, but it's not a fully fledged doctrine. But there is a lot of hope in the future that it may be help the international communities to curb those kind of atrocious activities that have been perpetrated by dictatorial government, especially in the case of the Ethiopian. So maybe you may think like this may be not valid currently or in a current situation, but personally I do have my own opinion and reasons or evidences that possibly the international community will have some sort of interventions, either diplomatic or other means of intervention, so as to help the Ethiopian citizens, in more especially in the areas of the Oromo people, and to live their life with dignity and respect of human rights. So R2P is still an emerging concept, not yet defined by any binding international instrument, because there is utilization of this instrument or these ideas for political purposes and interests when in the case of like imprecise definition were not yet given by the international community at the level of a declaration. Now the idea came up or brought or initiated by one of the Canadian foreign minister, and then the General Assembly in the year 2005 drafted a declaration on the R2P, but it was used for some countries' interests, especially the United States in the case of the Libyan intervention. So since then, though, the international community was in the Security Council and the UN permanent position holders, especially in the Security Council, were very skeptical regarding the proper utilization of this instrument. So in the definitional notions of this concept is a mechanism of global community responding to some harms, abuses suffered by certain state citizens when the state unable or unwilling to protect its own citizens. So the concept, the idea was invoked by the UN or United Nations Security Council resolution in the year 2011 when they intervened in a Libyan situation and deposed Colonel Gaddafi. That was a justification, like specifically citing the word R2P and averting mass atrocity that have been perpetrated to the Libyan citizens from the highest authority of the Gaddafi's regime. That was a justification. So coming to the point of this justification that the degree of violence really matters, how many people were killed by the Gaddafi regime, or was like a primitive or anticipatory or preventative measures that have been taken because of the past experiences or lessons they have taken from Rwandan scenario and the Bosnian cases and the Cambodian cases, so which have been that the Cambodian and the Bosnian cases were like the atrocities that have been committed under the watch of the United Nations peacekeepers. So when it comes to the Rwandan situation, still they were late to respond, in which the genocidal acts that have been taken place from the authorities and in between the two tribal groups, the Hutus and Tutsis, were like close to 1 million population. So that was maybe one of the justification, but still people are arguing like if Aritopi dead or alive, or some others argue is like on life support or something like that. But it's still, arguably the global community should come up with a binding instrument to govern Aritopi to ensure that the applicability is very practical so as to avoid abuses for political purpose and clear guidelines for its implementation purposes. So, and the second one is a repressive state, gross human rights violations. So the international community should respond to human rights abuses promptly so as to avoid the loss of life and maintain the international peace and security. Obviously, the United Nations purpose was like a response. When the purpose of establishing the United Nations was like a response to the World War II, in which they come up with some sort of mechanisms in which the League of Nations failed to curb those mass atrocities in the First or Second World War. So the United Nations was trying to be emerging as one of the potent international organization or institution in responding to this kind of outrageous crimes that have been committed against civilians or interstate wars. So coming up with the respect to sovereignties and all those stuff. So if a state proved manifestly unwilling or unable to do so, other states had the responsibility to step in and provide the protection in conformity with the United Nations Charter and international law. So most importantly, the international laws involving all those international human rights laws or documents ranging from civil and political rights and all the way coming to Child Rights Convention and socio-economic and cultural rights, all those stuff. So the primary duty of all those states is a duty to respect. So one of those international instruments dictate clearly the duties. So some other scholars or some other regional instruments called quartile duties, or others call it tripartite duties, where a duty to respect and protect and fulfill. And the African Charter added another duty which is called facilitate. So when it comes to the status, in the case of protection, there is a duty to respect, which we call it inaction and negative rights, which is a state should refrain from violating an individual's right or its own citizens' right, and duty to protect, which I'm going to discuss more in detail in Ethiopian cases, which does the situation or the current situation in Ethiopia justifies the intervention of the international community with the available mechanisms they do have in averting those kinds of mass atrocities or any crimes against humanity that have been perpetrated by the repressive regimes. So when it comes to the point of justifying the cause of Oromos in Ethiopia and pursuing the Aritopi track, so before going in detail to this topic, the very reason I started doing research or conducting this research was the Ambu Massacre, the year 2014, in which the students from the kids all the way 82 years old, a man was killed in a daylight that close to 63 or 70 something. People lost their lives for protesting peacefully against the first master plan movement. That was in the month of April, to the end of May, where I was there in Ambu. And then I used to research in the area of socio-economic rights and cultural rights, where I was advocating for a social justice in the areas of under term constitutional legal guaranteed human right in the Ifedri Constitution, where I didn't give much attention because thinking like those civil and political rights were demanding like a less resource, and when the socio-economic rights were at larger degree were neglected and pushed to the margins, and they were far from the judicial review. So I was advocating on socio-economic rights, bringing to the attention of the judiciaries, ensuring a clean water, and access to clean water, and access to healthcare services, and adequate standard of living was just short, but where even those, the right we assumed were negative rights like civil rights, which specifically a right to life, were at stake. So one of the reasons that I decided to shift my area of interest in the areas of civil and political rights was this reason. The institutional persecution against the Oromos, when it comes to the Oromos, are the largest ethnic group in Ethiopia, where maybe close to 40 or something percent, maybe the data may not be accurate for some reason. So the Oromos were institutionally persecuted, suffered in different ways. They were not only political, economic deprivation, but also symbolic and cultural segregation in the hands of Abyssinian ruling system. And the current government also perpetuates the same thing until a very recent, but still there is no guarantee in the future that the Oromos will also enjoy their own human right that has been guaranteed by the Ethiopian constitution and all those international human rights instruments that have been ratified by the Ethiopian government. When it comes to the international human rights, Ethiopia is one of the countries well known for ratifying all the human rights but not implementing those rights. Ethiopia is in a better position at the United Nations in ratifying human rights when it's compared to United States, especially the Convention on the Right of Child. US didn't ratify, but Ethiopia did. And then Convention on Social and Economic and Cultural Rights, US didn't, but Ethiopia did ratify those rights. And the Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities, the United States didn't ratify, but Ethiopia did ratify in order to symbolically appear at the international level that Ethiopia is pro-human rights country. But in fact, on the real world and on the ground, Ethiopia is far from protecting a human right. Instead, Ethiopia is one of the most dangerous country which was known for violating a human rights. So the other issue is a systematic persecution against the Oromos, and even very recently is a blatant human rights violation that have been perpetrated against the Oromos from the highest authority of the Ethiopian government, with some individual groups that have been organized by the government of Ethiopia. So persecution and assimilationist policies pursued by the state have been caused many Oromos to flee and refuse to self-identify as Ethiopians. As this is one of the most interesting notions that have been written by one of Oromo scholar, Professor Savage Aleta, as well. I used their papers and articles in one of the citations. So this paper is fully cited and properly referenced for that matter. So I do acknowledge the stuff. So the Oromos have been suffering symbolic and cultural segregation with the Ethiopian Empire as well. So hate speech against the Oromo have resulted in many tension amid the students at the universities. So they call Gala, and then all of a sudden the Oromos will fight. We do have a kind of physical and emotional responses in those situations, and in which we remain also the victims of mass arrest and torture in prison. That finally there is no any persuasive or lasting solution from the Ethiopian government. So if the current situation, you guys better understand what is exactly going back home. So if the issue are not nipped up at the bud by the legislative intervention from the government, especially in relation to the hate speech, and how the hate speech would finally engulf and result into the issue of genocidal activities in Rwanda, where they were calling one another as cockroach, and then the Germans were calling the Jewish as vermin, and then the Amaras calling us or the Habeshas calling us Galas, but we are not. Just so, and still, what exactly prompted or triggered the international community to intervene in Libyan situation was that the speech that Gaddafi made or aired, saying I will track down all those cockroaches from house to house. That was one of the alarming statement that the NATO was kind of deciding this could be dangerous if it's not near that. But then what exactly going in Ethiopia, and how the Oromos were not allowed to enter their own capital city, Finfinne, in which when they were welcoming the Olef, when he moved and decided to go back home, they were killed. And then at the outskirts of Addis Ababa city, where all over somewhere in the country. So how they were really responded with like a blatant human rights violation from a group. So it's very important to reconsider those sessions. In case of Oromo political prisoners, you may say that there is no political prisoner, but still Oromos get arrested in affiliation with OLF, and then still we do have maybe a number of prisoners, but maybe not as large as the previous past like 27 years or 29 years, but still we do have a prisoners. So we have to be very careful while we are just giving an approval for the current government. So still all human rights are equal for everyone, and everybody is entitled to the full protection of human rights as has been guaranteed under the Ethiopian constitution. So there shall not be any political party who is deprived of his own right to life and freedom of movement because he's expressed his own views. So there is a freedom of expression article under Article 37 or 32, which says everyone has a freedom of thought and expression, so you can have your own holdings of the ideas, and you can be a supporter of a different political parties as long as you act in accordance with the country's laws and policies. But that the way the current transitional government is working against other groups and selectively prosecuting the other political parties is not in line with international human rights instrument that Ethiopia has ratified. So widespread and systematic and enforced disappearance is one of the very interesting topics. So still we don't have an answer for some individuals who were like disappeared in the last 27 years, 29 years. Waye bod abasagu yo kana mamma de binin argamne waye jalna digamada still though it's a very serious issue, which is this enforced disappearance is a very serious crime. So that the international instrument and institution deal with, but there was no sufficient responses from the international community. So I have to focus more on land grabbing and widespread and systematic, because it's taking this is giving me a lot of interest in the areas of socio-economic rights, and cultural rights, in which they all Ethiopians were entitled to have an access to social services under Article 43 or 42 of the Ethiopian constitution. So equal access to social services, what does it mean? To an access to land, possibly maybe one of those rights, or an access to clean water, maybe possibly those one of the rights, in which the Addis Ababans are enjoying a full right access to clean water, and then the people just close to Addis Ababa, maybe 5 kilometers away, like Burayu, are not getting access to clean water, but all the clean water comes from Oromia, and they don't have an access to electricity or services, but Addis Ababa is like enjoying every day. So this is one of a very very interesting areas to see from those angles. So when it comes to the point of land grabs, so Ethiopia is one of the world's hungriest countries, as you can see, you can read, and then being massively evicted from their own land. So land is not something we see like a kind of a thing that will guarantee your means of livelihood, but it's also a kind of belongingness or an identity, or a cultural identity. So if you see from the point of 85% of the Ethiopian population lives an agrarian way of life. So if you snatch that farmer, his own land, you are snatching his belonging, his life, you are targeting this group of individuals and pushing them to them, deliberately targeting and striking them with hungers and depriving their means of survival. So one striking example I've observed while I was assisting one of a scholar from Basel University in London. It is called Dr. Tom Levers. We went to Awash Malkasa dan Nelale Shwaba Gabab Sensinitima Gaafa Awaash Malkaasaa sana dhannu, there was an expansion project, a Wanji Sugar factory. Na namni bulchaan magaalaa sana Shawaa Bahaa dhaqeetu ganda sana waamee itti mee lafti kun misooma barbaadamaa hin gadhiiftu jennaani maaliif gadhiisnaa jedhanii jennaani kanaachi immoo yookiin Wallaggatti yookiin ganda tokkotti isin ergina kanaaf ganda kanaas hin buqqina kanaachi jara kana bira teessanii lafa kana gadhiisuufi qabdu jennaan jarri sodaatanii toleedhan. Expansion projectiin suni shonkoraa dhaabaniitu sprinklerii kanaan bishaan itti wanni godhan guddisu. Namoonni kun dirqama birrii 3 kaffalamee hojjetamaaf hojjechuu qabu jechaadha. Just it's literally from being an owner to a level of servitude akkatti reduce godhanii jechaadha nama kana. So namoonni kun kana dura xaafii kumtaala 5 jaagashatan irra kan saraatenyaa ta'an jechaadha. Odaaf qaambulanii achi shonkoraa jara ciruu jechaadha. Yoo didanii lafa isaanii sana irraa fuudhanii like 1/4 of hectareetti 27 Ethiopian birr subsistence fee kafalamafi if he has like an hectare like he's getting 28 Ethiopian birr mal bitaa fi birriin uffata isaanii miiccanne saamunaan bitu jedhanii so namoonni akka carraammoo lafti isaanii irraa fudhanne akka caffeerra jalaa oole shunkurtii si'a lama jallisiin qotataniitu minimum waggaatti 100 argatu shunkurtii qotanii jechaadha. So namoota kana yeroo laaltani waan isaan qaban irraa fuudhee mootummaanii daf qaambulaatti reduce godheera. That was very extensive. Lafti isaa baay'ee bal'aadha. Kanaaf it's not only a government but it's still some individuals, investors gara arsii lixaammoo kuyyeeraa jala deemne kan ilaalle akkasuma lafti baay'een investoriidhaaf kenname hin qotamu waan jedhu warri kaan fudhatanii marga gurguru. Qotanii yookiin investing goone marga gurguru lafa baay'ee bal'aa amma yeroo kana ilaaltan fakkeenyaaf fakkii kana ilaaltan badaan mul'atu waan achiirra jiru ilaalaa fooqii sana apartamaa akkas babal'atee jiru kana oolan achi dheeddii lafa qarmii kanarra yeroo ilaaltanii waan kana ilaalaa sangaa sana yeroo badaan mul'atu sangaa sana fooqii sana jala yeroo yaa'u it's a kind of like a threat for me. What will happen in the future? Like namoota akka kanatti deprive gootanii their means of survival. So it is one of the maybe the other means of perpetrating crimes against humanity, which is also part and parcel of the which clearly falls within the ambit of the R2P. So lafa kana lafa qonnaa kana waan kun amma lafa qonnaa kana yeroo ilaaltanii bifa kanaan nama irraa kaasanii buqqisanii sadarkaa qotee bulaarra nama jireenya fooyya'aa jiraatu irraa gadi fidaniitu nama kadhataa godhanii namoota baay'ee akkatti jira jechaadha. So fakkeenyaaf waa'ee masa kondominiimii yeroo darbee hirame nama 70,000 kenname nama 70,000 yeroo kennamu nama 70,000 achi garuu tokkoffaa yoo xiqqaate namni tokko nama lama yoo fudhannee nama lamatu gala yoo ta'e 140 achi gala maatiin 3-4 godhachuu jira nama Itoophiyaadha 3-4 godhata daa'ima dimoogiraafii naannoo sanaan jijjiira. Dimoogiraafii jijjiiruu dowwaamini namni achi buqqa'ee deeme immoo meeqadha nama 70,000 kondominiyeemii naannoo sanatti ijaarame jechuun so though really the Ethiopian government is taking actions against this kind of outrageous crimes or crimes against humanity, are they properly responding? Do they really guaranteeing the rule of law? Is there any potent judiciary which is really responding to these human rights violations? So whereas the state, who is the primary duty bearer, fails and unwilling to protect its own citizens from genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, R2P shall apply. And R2P would bring remarkable changes in areas of human rights protection if it's properly utilized and not used for political purposes, like the Libyan situations. The Ethiopian government is taking further repressive measures against the Oromo instead of bringing perpetrators to justice. What we're observing currently is a selective prosecution, So if you're not happy with a certain group of individuals, so they don't get along with your own ideologies, that you arrest them and waan akkasiitu jira jechuufan jedhe egaa amma fudhachuus dhiisuus dandeessu isin yaada mataa keessanidha. The officials and the responsible government authority were shielded from prosecution and even promoted to the highest rank for committing such outrageous and atrocious human rights violation against civil lives. Fakkeenyaaf qaallittiin cufameedhaan nama gadi baasni jedhan isa miilli citeef wiilcharii badhaasanii gadhiisanii. That's not the way we respond to a human rights violation. That should be a judicial mechanism which really responds and punishes the violators. Now, still there should be a rule of law is a guarantee to a transition to democracy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Abu Amsalu, for your presentation. Our next panelist is Ade Tahai Wadaju. She's currently a licensed senior social worker with over 22 years of experience working for the Minnesota government. She's also a founder and executive director for the nonprofit organization known as the Resources for Enrichment of African Lives. She has over 30 years of work experience as a director, teacher, consultant, and a facilitator of communication and understanding between police and immigrant communities. She's a recipient of a fellowship and has an award for the work on domestic violence against African women. Mrs. Wadayo has a master's degree in social work from Augsburg University and a BA in English literature from Addis Ababa University in Ethiopia. So please welcome Ade Tahai.
Akkam jirtu hundumtu? How is everybody? Okay, good. So this area of presentation that I'm going to do is to connecting the dots, historical and the current international and local institutional support in Ethiopia and in Oromia. What had me actually interested in this topic is my own experience of being engaged as a social worker. My job is, to take care of people, humanitarian. In addition to that, a very small organization that I have been working on a voluntary basis for the last 14 years. And now in our 15th as a US-based nonprofit organization. So through that lens, looking at what is going on in Ethiopia when it comes to humanitarian and institutional support. And so I want to let you know that I am not an expert. I just actually, as I was reading on this topic, it had me think that probably this area is going to be my interest going forward, to do more in-depth study and looking at humanitarian institution, more specifically in Ethiopia, and looking at the African perspective, which I did not get a chance to touch. Okay, so In doing this, I looked at some information, and so what I wanted to have us look in doing this, or me presenting this, what is that we wanted to come away with, really, is my intention is for us to gain basic historical knowledge on international and national NGO or humanitarian organization, like historically looking at even the Western world and also Ethiopia. And then for us to be engaged in critical thinking on how to establish and sustain effective institutional support. This is actually my intention, and I hope this intention will resonate with you so that in this area we can take action what we need to do. And before I do that, because when I was looking and researching, I didn't come across, probably in a sentence or so that I was able to see, because of probably I didn't get the time to research more, but I didn't see the value that we have as people, as Oromos, when it comes to actually at the grassroots level what we do to culturally what we do. So I want us to engage in maybe 2-3 minutes conversation. So if we can reflect onto our own cultural perspective of giving and generosity, what is that comes to you, if you can actually get into the conversation. I'll give you 2-3 minutes because I have only a few minutes and I'm timing myself, by the way. So I know probably some of you might have done a study in this area of giving and generosity as people. What are some of the cultural institutions that we have? Let's get into this conversation. As people culturally, yes. Dammaqa maal qabna nuyi aadaa keenya keessatti waan garaa garaatu jira wanti goonu akka aadaatti jechuudha. Yes.
Biyya keenyatti dabalee jedhanii naannoo adda addaatti maqaa biraatiin himamuu isaatti mala yoo fakkeenyaaf ollaan kiyya loowwan ummatuun qabaan ta'ee ijoollee waan ittiin guddifatanii qabaanne warri ollaa sa'aan immoo akka kennee fi dabalee kennee fi akka ijoollee ittiin guddifatan qaama isaaniif dhimmoota waatii dhaabsuu akkuma deebisu garuu immoo akka namichi sun ijoolleen kan hin miidhamne dabalee kennee jechuudha. Namni biraas akkasuma dabarsee kennuun malaa.
Karabra.
muka jala ta'anii rabbii kadhatanii akkasitti tarataraan faraqaadhaan nama rakkoo qabu gargaara. Yoo ijoolleen immoo gaafa iidaa jedhanii maas yoo ijoolleen daaroltellee ijoollee saniifis warri dukkaanaa maallaqa waliin buusee mana eenyuutu boru huccuu qabdu ijoollee eenyuutu boru uffatee gadi hin baane jedhanii akkasitti uffisan. Gargaarsa olluma keessaa walitti qabanii fi gaditti gargaaran akkasitti hin beeku.
Tuni. Yeah. yaa institutionaan hin jiru cultural supportidha kan irratti xiyyeeffannaa kan hin jedhe.
Institutionally qabna akkatti wal gargaaru abbaan gadaa yeroo filamu rooliin isaanii tokko torbaniin yeroo walgahii hin jirre yeroo gabaadhaa gaaddisa mukaa jala taa'ee buusii kuna buusiin kun haadha hiyyeessaatiif kennama tokko inni lammaffaan immoo teeknikal woordi isaan irraanfatee isaan mana dubbise inni lammaffaan teeknikal woordi isaan irraanfatee jabuuf inni arge isaa dubartoonni yeroo abbaan manaa isaanii sadalee irraa du'u manni yoo xinnoo laafaa ta'e torban sadii gidduutti walitti dhufanii mana san haaressanii ijaaru. Iyyuma yeroo jedhani haadha hiyyeessaa yeroo jedhan immoo dubartiin ijoollee qabdu abbaan manaa irra hin jirre akka meetaaforii iyyumaatti ilaalama. So institutionally qabna akka wal gargaartu biyya westitti welfare society jedhama. Welfare society biyya Ingilizitti jalqabame yeroo biyya Ingilizitti jalqabamu revolutionii jalaa ka'ee warri kuurii warra richi galagashuu jennaan welfare jalqabate. Loowutti institute amma ammaatti jira. Kan Oromoo garuu utuu revolutionii dhufanii gadaama keessatti yaadisaa dhalatee abbaan gadaadhaa rooliin isaa tokko horii buusaa kanaa warra hiyyeessaatiif abbaa manaas qabaatanii warra hiyyeeyyii ta'anii fi horii sassaabaan funaanan lammaffaan immoo sana amma jedhee yeroo bakki abbaan manaa irraa du'u manni sun laafaa taanaan within a week before a month mana haaressanii jira.
Galatooma. Okay. Conversation you don't want to enjoy. Okay. So okay. Obbo Lamee.
Kutaata kanaan nuti taane akka gadaa kan argaa dhageettii keessaa fuudhee akka maatii tokkotti waan beekamu maalidha buusaa gona fa'aan jedhamu jira. Biyyaaf illee nama tokko lamaaf biyyi hoobate biyya tokko hamaa ta'u naannoon Wallaggaa miidhaan irra gaheera ta'e naannoon Harargee yookaan immoo naannoon Arsii biyya nagaa qilleensa nagaa hormaata nagaa keessa jiru ta'e biyya tokko lolaan fudhatee yookaan immoo abiddi balleessee yookaan lolaan balleessee rahoo ta'e loon mooraa bal'oo jedhani namoota mooraa bal'oo qaban namoota loon guddaa qaban jecha namoota kana irratti ramada gadaan beesa deebisanii biyya sana ijaaruu jecha biyyuma sana amma biisuun badee rahoo ta'e loon kumaatamaan geessanii qubachi kennisiisuu fi hannama dhuunfaallee akkasitti gadi deemaa jechaadha. Warri mooraa bal'oo warri mooraa guddaa qaban nama deege nama lolaa mana isaa balleesse nama qeensaa bade sana deebisanii ijaaranii wal ergachuu ashkarii wal godhachuu aadaa keessaan qabu Oromoon deebisee wal ijaaree wal qixxeessee waliin jiraachuu malee aadaa Oromoon guddina gadaa keessa hanjiru kana amma inni bubbu'ee inni daboo jedhamu inni maal jedhamu kun waanuma kana keessaa dhalatee dhufee as ga'eedha Oromoon akkasitti jiraataa ture kanadha.
Okay, baay'ee fayyataa yeroon koo deemaa jira daqiiqaa 10 waan qaba waan tan adreesii godhamu baay'eetu jira. So the reason why I want us to be engaged in this conversation is just for us to go back to, even though like the institution, the Gada institution, we don't practice that, but we are, looking forward to do that, and also individually as a community and as a society, as a nation, what we've been doing. Because like, for example, right now, I've learned actually a few things here that I did not know before. Like if we wanted to be engaged in this conversation and motivate ourselves in actually even creating an institution. So that's why I wanted to get into that conversation. And in some of the reading that I did, actually I didn't get these kinds of information. So that's why I wanted for us to be engaged. And also when they, some of the scholars who did study on this are more focused on the Western origin and establishment of humanitarian organization. So in a broad cultural, political, and philosophical and practical senses, humanitarian action can be traced through hundreds of years of history across the globe. Two of the most widely cited forces through it would be, even though it can be inaccurate, that they are different, but it is the religious-based Christian and Islam that are religious beliefs and the articulation of law of war, and those are the basis for humanitarian organization. As I said, Christian of charity have been particularly important in Europe and in North America. And scholarship has emphasized the importance of charitable gesture in other religions, as I said, including notably the tradition of zakat. Zakat, yeah, in Islam. So, and then also the influence of war and famine and disaster, all of those emerging situations have prompted to establish institutional support around the world. And to my surprise, also when I was looking at this, since this is not like, this is beyond the scope of what I'm doing here in this presentation, as I said, I will really focus on this one going forward to learn more on this topic. So I will jump into the Ethiopian situation. As I was looking, I didn't come across probably it's because I didn't delve into or got the time to research, but I didn't come across an institution in Oromia as to humanitarian support. What I came across was ODA, Oromo Development Association, actually formed in 1994. That was actually in the last 27 years when the Tigrayan EPRDF have been in power, well, still in power, but in a reformed way, that they used different groups. However, even though those institutions were there, they were not really, they didn't really benefited the Oromo people. But going forward, at this era of reform, there is a great opportunity to look into that. I see that my time is running, so okay. So one thing that I came across was actually the first, a group of first Oromo evangelical Christians under the leadership of Onesimus Nesib, Hika, had established Nejo Missionary School in 1912, where I am from. So that was really a very eye-opener for me to see that. And during that time, the government of that time actually prohibited and had them close this institution that was meant for education. And then they permitted again. And so after 18 years, it started to function. And also they cite Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. I'm sorry, Evangelical Church Makane Jesus, and Catholic Charities, and different organizations like that that have been operating in Ethiopia. So I have 4 minutes. So I have paperwork here so that you can see historical formation of international and local institutions in Ethiopia. And I also have international information so that you can look at them, because I didn't get a chance to really address some of the issues. So when we look, what I saw looking back these 27 years, these humanitarian organizations, whether they are NGOs, whether they are locals, really did not make that significant difference for the Oromo people. I clearly saw that. And so most of the international institutions are based on the capital cities, and also address some of the issues, some of the researches that I saw or reading that I did. Most of the institutional support have been to the west, and I mean to the Tigrayan region. It did not benefit that much for the rest of us. So then now going forward with this transitional era, what are some of the things that we need to do in order for us to build a strong institutional support? If I had to go back, what would I do?
I think this one.
Okay.
Which one do you
No, a little bit
more back?
Yeah, back over there. Sorry. Okay, now I can manage it.
This is back. This is back.
Okay. So I just also wanted to share with you my own experience in managing and directing a small nonprofit organization for the last 14 years, and some of the dynamics that I saw in forming an institution in Ethiopia and how it has been difficult. They passed a law that even not to focus on humanitarian, human rights, and those who focus on human rights were not permitted starting in 2009. So as you know, most of activists were not able to form the international organization as we know it to operate in Ethiopia. And so I did see some of the hardships or the imposition that the government did so that we don't have a strong institutional support. So with this small nonprofit organization, we just stayed US-based organization, working in mostly in Oromia area, and supporting the education and empowerment of girls. So one of the roadblock was if we had to, when we focus on education of girls and women's rights, that has been not permitted in Ethiopia. So we did a grassroots level, and so there is a long way for us to go now in this new reform era. I really hope that we can establish an NGO, international NGO, because we can do so much. In this volunteer-based organization so far, we have raised close to $1 million to send the support to those the girls that we are working with, and we have reached about 396 to 49 already completed our program, and actually 55 already graduated in undergraduate and employed, and vocational training we have made a difference for 74. I did it to myself. So currently we have 42 girls in different universities. So what we are planning to do in forming an international NGO, actually we wanted to get into those universities and those schools these girls and other girls are attending, to create or sustain the mentorship program that we have in place. Just give me one more minute. So now, what do we need to do, and how have we been operating? So lack of strategy to work together is a barrier for us, and to have support. We have a support fatigue because we all attend to a cause, and all of us try to contribute, and that has created really a hardship on us. And we have not really been effective in reaching out and making sustainable difference that we talked about, even in a cultural way that we've been doing. We did addressing many causes needs well-planned. I mean, we have limited resources, so we need a limited, very strategically planned institution. Sometimes we base on emotion, and we also to reach out to whatever is going on rather than thinking it through, where this would go, how will we do. So that is something that we need to focus on. And also the need for unity is very important. And as I was walking here or looking at this group of us, I reflect back in 1995 or 1994, 6, around that time, we used to have really cohesive and unity, and there was a meeting that was happening here at this university, and I see some of you here that I vividly see at that time that how many people were there, like when we are together. So we need, in spite of the differences and the political situation, because we've been stretched too thin, it is a critical moment for us to come together as people. Beyond political situations, it is a testing moment for all of us to come together in order to really build a strong institution, whether it's political, whether it is humanitarian, whatever it is very critical that we need to come together. So with that, I will end. I know I am over my time. Thank you so much.
Obamsalu, could you also come here for the questioning? Thank you. Considering the time, we are only taking 2 questions. Okay, you and in the back, Amane, sorry.
Yeah, I'll make mine short.
Sorry. Oh. It's okay.
I thought I was loud enough. First of all, thank you for those, Zai and Salu.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, my question, more of a compliment also is to Salu. You have presented a very tiny and actually new concept in the sense of intervention, crisis intervention in the international community. The term had to be, I've never heard of that. In our country now, in Oromia, in Ethiopia, there's a big paradox in a way. Some say that Oromos are at the helm of state power, so Oromos are no longer marginalized. This is a narrative now, even a narrative that some Oromos are subscribing to. On the other hand, alienation by the dominant political group against the Oromo is rampant more than any time in our history. For example, you raised the example of September 15, 2018, when OLF went home. I, my colleague Tumsa, Professor Barata, we were in town in November, on September 14, the night of September 14. Half of Filipino was a war zone. Now, a week ago, a group of urban lantern, I would say, deployed by some ideologues, had been vandalizing Oromia National Bank. Anything Oromo now was being vandalized. The Second World War broke out after 10 months after the Nazis vandalized the synagogues, the Reichskirchen Act in November 1930. Do you remember that? Even though the magnitude varies, the trend is the same. My question is really Oromo at the helm of state power to protect this, or the situation nowadays still warrants the intervention? That's one. The second one is, I know you said that the term R2P is still an emerging concept, but where does its jurisdiction lie? How does it get informed about getting involved with or intervening in a crisis? Is it within NATO, the Security Council, the collective security, or just superpowers intervene as they need? How do R2P get informed for an involvement of crisis of this magnitude? Thank you.
Okay. Well, Amani.
Thank you both for such a wonderful presentation. And my question is for Sabu and probably all the legal minds that come out of Oromia, Ethiopia and abroad. It's related to the master plan, but also land grab. My question is, the land grab is not a new phenomenon in Ethiopia, and also particularly in Oromia. What I want to know is what legislative policies and or what can the legal community do to further deter the many strategic land grab plans and policies that are currently taking place? And also, adding to that, what can be done about previous land grabs? Are there any legal mechanisms to ensure that people are held accountable in order to move forward and also deter future land grab policies? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It's really a wonderful and interesting questions. Gara dhumatti conclusionii ko yeroon fide sana slide gara dhumaa hin geenye malee it's emerging concept garuu they have used it in the case of Libyan situations, and how many. That's why I was trying to put in my research questions. Does the situation in Ethiopia justifies the intervention of the international community, specifically regarding the violence that have been perpetrated by the Ethiopian government? Yeah. So, Yero gara dura sana kanani 2015 in Baraces, I was a seminar research for my LLM graduation. That was the beginning of the master plan protest. That was the initiative Jadera, 2015-16. Then you see how many people were killed, like 5,000 Oromo youths, and then women, and pregnant women. Namota jia jotorba, ulfa jia torba nama jese, daima jese ni adarakan. This is a clear human rights violation that is specifically a crimes against humanity. And then when these crimes against humanity committed, it could be a peacetime and a wartime situation. So my area of focus. R2B could be possibly applied in the areas of peacetime and wartime situation, but my area of focus was there was no any conventional war between the Ethiopian government or any other rebel groups at the time. So the protest was against the master plan. And then coming to the situation or just justifying situation, like what about the Radial Massacre in which that we lost like 700 or 1,000? We don't exactly know the figures. And what was the response of the government to this kind of heinous crimes? Did they brought those people who were like flying over those crowds? Did they brought those people, individuals? Namonni gaafa sana helicopter balalisanii namootatti aara gadi naqanii. Specifically, we can easily identify those groups. Argitanii yooma nama keessa dhaabate qawwee dhukaasisan adda baasuu. Did they brought this individual to justice? No. Maal godhanii dhaqanii siidaa dhaabanii tasa dhumanii jedhame. It was a very hot issue. Akkamitti tasa jedhama. That was a very meditated and pre-planned and killings. So this is a massacre. Nama tokko bowwaatti al tokko nama 700 nama 800 natteetu siidaa dhaabdee fi biraan deemtu. There should be some sort of mechanism and to fight this kind of very serious crimes. Kanaaf Ethiopia is a party to the international human rights instruments and a member of United Nations. There is a mechanism. So when it coming to the R2B enforcement mechanism, the second question, the enforcement mechanism, when they give the warnings to the Ethiopian government to domestically address the issues and fully investigate and bring the perpetrators to the justice. So if the Ethiopian government is really willing or unable to bring or investigate or unable to bring these individuals specifically as a ringleader, Europe and Nela, get as a father, Jedami security force, and there are private prisons. Blatantly, Dr. Abiy parliamentary case we are the terrorists. That's not enough. As a human rights lawyer, that's not enough. That's not sufficient. That there should be any legal mechanism. The Constitution in Ethiopia and the U.S. Constitution in Chala. The U.S. Constitution has 3 articles and some amendments relating to those. What amendment is, and we have 110 articles, which the chapter 3 fully dictated as a human rights and democratic rights. That's way better than even one of the so-called free democratic society. Fakkeenya of American chat. Kanaafuu bifa sanaan enforce gochuun hin danda'ama garuu. Is there any reluctance on the side of the government? And then does the capturing the helm of the state power will be a mechanism of enforcing that? No, because there was an entrenched system, like has been established in the last 150 years. So it's a kind of book. Still, the government is not taking any judicial reform. Namoni galgala namatuma bulani ganama namatti murteessa namarre still they are judges. Fakkeenya yoon fudhadhee isinitti mee nama tokkoo fi leegaala eedii Amboo irratti hojjenna turre tajaajila seeraa bilisa laanna waan ta'eef mana murtii aanaa Amboo dhannee labor employment law irrattidha. Nama kana waggaa 5 hojjechiisee miindaan kaffalleef namichi kuni. Naan gaafa nama kana himannu gara birii 200 wayiidhaan himanne. Na specifically nama kana muhin arrabsaa hin tuffata waan ta'eef Ingiliffaaf Amaariffaan qabna guys. Proclamation in Ethiopia akka biyya kana state law hin jiru. Which means labor law is a federal law. Laborin akka walii gaddeemee option price, market price, waan akka wage kanan by balance gochuu waan barbaade. We have only one single federal law. Kanaafi achi keessatti yasabaawwi mabtuun yan akka indoonedha. Just in the eenyummaa human dignity una human right un violate ka godhe yoo ta'e jedha. Isa sitti daballee kun yakka gaafa jennuuni understanding him about this era Kenya siniti hubanno akkamii qabu waa'ee mirga namummaa isaa dhuufidha. Are they sensitive? Are they judicially activist or judicially restraint mechanism? Are they judicially activists like the way the American judges are deciding like most important decisions in the American politics and American policies and laws? Kanaafiyyuu nani waa'ee human rights kana manuma barumsaa keessanitti deebisaa amsaaluu naan jedhe. This is a judge. Judiciary is one of the important institutions in the protection and promotion of human rights. So let me put my point for the questions, like as a conclusion. Dr. Sagayar Arsaka said, human rights should be a consumable legal commodity. So, ani kosa dokile to kobetu lata wancha said, gale nama wancha bachise, okin geba nama bachise. Jarri kuni sidu kada kani tu geba kana fudatani na lakki inne suta shakkame uchinji tatakame uchaidallum jedhe. Nani Ethiopia keessatti Oromooni mirga baata malee mirga ittiin fayyadamu. That's why. So we have to have a very strong judiciary, and a promotion is a protection is it should be like practically translated into the life of the communities. Enforcement mechanism is a sovereignty issue is one of the outmoded notions at the time. So it's no more a domestic affairs. This is a matter of domestic issue. It doesn't concern the international communities. It is like the concept of universalism. The human right transcends the boundaries. So sovereignty can no longer be a defense for committing this kind of heinous crime. So the mechanism of enforcement, if my conclusion is that if it's not utilized for political purposes and fairly implemented, for Kenya, America, Libya, one in Jalan, Gaddafi, one in Kanila Fadani, Brade Beniotan. Why they didn't intervene in Syrian situation? What is the scenario in Syria? So still, there are some fears. Akuma Libya good and Nidi Gani Brade Biwanja, and if China, Russia, and Arkakesa, Kabatani, but it's still that is a full-fledged civil war is going on, like in the chemical weapons and the crimes against humanity, mass murder. So, namoni amo Oromia keso da tani lalta nama abu margetu nama jesa. Nobody is taking a responsibility. There is no rule of law. Can have you be your antumanzeranjiretti? There is no future for the country, and there is no guarantee that this transition will be successful. Kufachu than that at some point. Kanavi sovereignty wanje we not do anymore. So Ethiopia kava kana Ethiopia natemallatesitu. There is a guarantee that there is a possibility that the international community will be intervening. And the other possibility, like in the case of Kenya, case by case of the Sudanese government al-Bashiriti warrant of arrest in Kutamejira for committing those crimes in the South Sudan, in Darfur. Arrest warrant in Somalia, the Sudan government was not a party to the Rome Statute. They didn't sign the Rome Statute, International Criminal Court. There was a Security Council referral through the United Nations to the ICC, the International Criminal. The referral, it depends on the interest and the second guy. Do they fairly use this mechanism for enforcement of the human rights? And any legislative... Second question. Legislative mechanisms for the intervention is, the land grab is not really any phenomenon, but it's more rampant in a current situation than in a previous time. So legislative intervention in jiraachuu qaba. Land lease proclamation in Kenya waggaa 90 nama kenne lafa namarraa fudhatee investariitti kenne waggaa 90 booda yoo ilaaltanii lafti isaa manni isaa beekama akkuma Finfinnee ammaa kana waggaa 100 duraa waan ni fakkaatu jechaadha. Kanaaf inni kun illee amended ta'uu qaba. Land is not subject to sale or any form of exchange for proprietary nature in jedhu sun. So previous land grab isa jedhu sanaaf is a very politically sensitive issue. Garuu still there is maybe a possible way out if the Ethiopian government, the current government, is bold enough to really compensate those people who were deprived of their possession or ownership. And lafti qabame suni, it's not a vacant land. I'm a property law keessatti lafti vacant yoo ta'e duwwaadha kan isin occupy gootan. Fakkeenyaaf any apartment that have been built on Oromia land without the permission of the Oromia government, the Oromia government can destroy or demolish this in the next morning. Or the person who built the property on your land shall demolish and clear the land and return your land. So trespassing is also a crime. So the possibility we're supposed to or the Ethiopian government should come up with one of the strongest legislative intervention in the future. So that's what I think. That's my suggestions. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
The question was for him, but not directed. I mean, it might have a little bit link when talking about who is that we're partnering with as far as international institution. So in the humanitarian situation, we can reach out to international institutions in Ethiopia and try to build collaboration. So that's what I wanted to comment on that, because the need is so great. There are lots of displaced people. That is a human rights issue. As you all know, it's not like maybe it's preaching it to the choir. We all know what's going on as to displacement. And who is reaching out to these people, who is making a difference for them in this crisis. It is very disappointing to see international organizations. And I know of CARE, which came out of the Second World War to do a care package. And so they became international organization to address, to eliminate poverty around the world. So I've been advocating or lobbying for them for the last 11 years. I think that kind of organization or institutional organization would be someone that we can work with. And actually, I wanted to use this opportunity. I talked to the director, the Ethiopian director, and they work in the Oromia region also. If they can partner with us to reach out to these displaced people, and they're open, actually, even to match in whatever amount or whatever we come up with. So we need to reach out. We need to expand rather than trying to solve things by ourselves. And the more the world looks at Ethiopia, and the more they are convinced that this is a good government, the more our cause may not be addressed. So I just wanted to add that for us to reach out to international organizations. Thank you.
I want to say thank you. Thank you both. This is a really engaging panel. And can everyone please give a round of applause for this panelist? Thank you. Galatoma. We're going to move on quickly to the next panel on building democracy and social justice in this transition era. Building and supporting democracy and justice during this transition period. That's you.
There is some handout later on if you want to understand a bit here.
Yes, sir. University. Did you receive my email? Email you architect? No, I did send you an email yesterday. You never responded. Yes.
And you have your same USB? Okay.
Oh, you need to send USB people? Okay, so
I can't see it.
The first one, 40 date, dated 40 short date, and then the first one.
second one?
That's a different USB.
My USB.
Okay, hold on. The changing format, that's Dr. Ayana's.
Yeah.
Hold on, please, sorry. That's it. Your USB, we need to find his USB. So yours is called, no, is it, yours is called Kingston?
Yes.
Okay, click on
And then sorted by day. First one. Yep.
My presentation is there. I have updated one.
No, I will run the panel if you want to introduce it. I just want to be done within how many minutes do we have?
Each presenter has 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then there's a 10-minute question and answer.
Okay, so 60 plus.
I said 27.
Okay.
Hour and 20
I will enforce the rules.
Okay. Do you need a timer?
Yes, please. Set it to 20.
Oromo TV. Oromo TV. Oromo TV. Oromo TV. Oromo TV. Oromo TV.
You can either clip it or hold it. It's up to you.
I will hold it because I'm going to pass it to him. Okay. Hiya. Okay. Please have a seat. Dr. Solomon. While they are taking their seat, my name is Badasa. I am a professor at the University of Minnesota. I moderate this panel. We were supposed to have 4 presenters. One of them is not here, so there are only 3 of us. Each of us has about 20 minutes. I will enforce the rule. The first speaker would be Professor Daniel. He is a Director of Graduate Studies at Youngstown State University in Ohio. The second speaker is Dr. Solomon Fole. He is in private practice right now, but he used to be a student, a graduate of University of Minnesota, and a faculty here. And by chance, he was also my senior at Haramaya University. So here we go, and the first speaker is Professor Daniel, and I will yield the podium to him. And I will, again, as I said, I will enforce the 20-minute rule. Please go ahead.
Kam bultanii kaleessa waa'ee maddamar jedhu namni dhiyeessu waan hin turreefini dhiyeessee har'a garuu kanuma koosantti qophaa'een dhiyeessa. The title of my presentation is From Bully Pulpit to People's Assembly. I think you know when American presidents say or journalists say bully pulpit, they speak bully pulpit in a positive manner. The word came into American politics during Theodore Roosevelt's presidency, 1901 to 1909. He saw that the American presidency is weak. The president is not galvanizing, animating, emotionally leading the public, and therefore he used the word bully. The word bully jechuuni korma bareedaa jechuudha yeroo sanatti. Korma bareedaa kana presidency attamittu democracy Ameerikaatti bal'isnaa jechuudhaan. About 50-60 years down, today the word bully jechuuni biyya kanattis eessattis nama namatti roorrisu, nama nama doorsisu jechuudha. So garuu ammayyuu bully pulpit yeroo jedhamu, even when it is said bully pulpit in America, it is a positive. So I am using two different cases, Ethiopia and America. So in the Ethiopian case, bully pulpit is for threatening. The meeting is for threatening, basically. The idea of bully pulpit for America came during the progressive era when there was a need to expand democracy. Yet, when Theodore Roosevelt was using bully pulpit, he selectively targeted some big businesses which he can attack. He avoided the very big businesses. That's one. Two, he also avoided town hall meeting. Town hall meeting is like our local meetings, which is included, which is embedded in Gada. It is a kind of assembly government. So he avoided a town hall meeting because in town hall meeting it is going to be a give and take, and the ordinary Americans will challenge him about the other many big businesses. Today bully has a negative. That negative connotation has, it is descriptive value for Ethiopia. During the Menelik era, Zawditu era, Tafari era, there is awaj, decree, and then Simabalo, translation. So it is decree, rule by decree, rule by decree. These decrees are issued on market days, and then they are translated. One typical example, land, starting from the time of Menelik, Siso, Siso means 1/3. But the Siso, so-called 1/3, actually is very close to almost 1/10, and even less than that, because it was translation, and whoever is translating lost it in translation in order to get more for the Naftanya during the early days, and then the Nachalabash later on. So that's one important point. Then during the time of Iyasu, however, there was a change because he allowed the farmers of the south in order to have their harvest. That was the different time. And Iyasu was moving in local Oromia and other areas, and that was the time when he listened to the public and then allowed people to use their harvest timely for Yerogan Naironami Belau, Akabarbanit Takamasi Sani Takani Chapsataniv. Haile Selassie 1930-74, Derg 75-90, TPLF, EPRDF. These are essentially bully in the negative sense, bully pulpit. Decree meant Nagarit Gazeta, starting from Haile Selassie. It was an attempt to modernize, but it is an oxymoron in meaning because Nagarit and Gazeta have the same meaning. Decrees announced over the radio and TV increasingly, Amharic and local translation, Simabalo, and then the Derg era, in order to expound on socialism, you find these bully pulpits. The guy who leads the meeting is referred to as Likamember, chairman. The word Likamember does not actually correspond to chairman. Likamember is somebody who is imposing from the pulpit on the attendees, his meeting, his ideas. No input during the Derg time. One issue I remember during the Derg time, there was what is called Wiyit Kebab or discussion kebab. Discussion club turned out to be a silent club. People don't talk to each other. Because in the taxi, when you enter in the taxi, you don't know anybody, so you just sit down. So people called it discussion taxi. The Derg spinned it around and said people discuss with each other in taxi. That is why it is called Wiyit Kebab. That was essentially a spin propaganda. Now, this comes from 2000 onwards. increasingly from 2000 onward and then from 2005 onwards, we see dramatic change in public meetings. I came to realize about this because I went twice to Oromia for urgent reasons, and I happened to talk just by chance what people are talking. And so in each case, I found a significant change occurring. So I call these changes, the first one, pushback question. The cadres come, I call these cadres, they are basically traditional intellectuals. Then there are organic intellectuals. The organic intellectuals pose what I call a pushback question. These are not just questions, just they raise their hands in order to get the chance to speak. Once they got the chance to speak, the speaking changes into oratory, a mini speech. Just goes on, very articulate speech, just dismantles what the EPRDF cadre, what OPDO cadre had said. And this is where you find mini speeches oratory being basically changing the opinion of the attendees of the meeting. At the end of the meeting, the participants get their own opinion about that meeting and go. So I took these meetings as a metaphor for a screw that is attaching the barcuma yeroo jedhanii, the barcuma mootummaa or the throne. If there is a throne and the screw that attaches the throne together is these meetings. And so what I see here is the throne, the public power, the seat of power is being unscrewed by these mini speeches every time. These mini speeches every time. It just goes on and on endlessly. Pushbacks become counter speech, basically denouncing, eviscerating, and refuting the presentations. One clear example I remember, OPDO cadre said, obbolesa du'e hin qabdanii abaa'uun du'e, right? Jennaan namoonni aaran. Maani tastelessidha kan itti haasa'e, obbolesa du'e hin qabdanii yeroo inni jedhu, everybody is angry. So inni tokko achi ka'eetu maali amantii gurguddaan biyya lafaa jiru du'aa ka'uun jira jedhee akka nama nuun beektu ati ittiin jedhe. Inni tokko immoo achi ka'ee abaa'oon koo yaada malee nama mitiini ittiin jedhe. That was the end of the meeting. So post 2005 election, these meetings became a rehearsal for the Qeerroo Qarree uprising. And the change in the style of public meetings from bully pulpit to people's assembly is basically going back to the cultural root. The cultural root taking over and then animating the public to emancipate the mind together, collectively liberating each other. Why is this? Why is this? I thought a lot, and then I found out that the meaning of history we have is different from Abyssinians. For Oromo, the meaning of history comes from two areas. One is events. Arga dhageetti taateewwan. Taateewwan yeroo ati jiraatte keessatti maal hojjette ati? Isat hojjettetu seenaa sii kenna. So seenaa jechuun aadaa Oromoo keessatti wanta individualiin hojjete kan collectively haasa'amu taateewwan eventsidha. So kun immoo maal fidaa? anthropologists have said that Oromo have a collectivist mentality, the Amhara have individualist mentality, but actually it is the opposite. The Oromo have both the collectivist and the individualist. The individualist, where the individual stands out and talks for the community, for the public, not for himself. He is standing there to defend some justice. That justice is truth. That truth is enunciated in the Gada system. And so it came through culture. Culture is memory. Memory is history. And that is how we find the current movement, self-liberation of the Oromo, coming to this stage. I haven't gone back since the end of TPLF-EBRDF, but I presume that there are still inherited toolboxes. These inherited toolboxes basically use to bully a meeting. So the meeting could still be bully pulpit, where bully is in the negative sense. But still, we have this transformed political landscape, a cultural value that is animating our people for freedom. And therefore, I go now to another point. Why did I was attracted to this oratory because I read a very old document written on Oromo, and that is about oratory, And one of the things that I realized is we call today debate. Actually, debate is a Western idea. It is linked to an individual. For the Oromo, when you have a meeting, it is mare. During the mare, you raise so many ideas and you find common ground. And when somebody stands up and speaks, he is presenting a lullaby. That lullaby is about the past decree that the different Gada generations have decreed. And so when we essentially adopt a concept from some different cultures, historical situations, it could be at the detriment of our future. And so the model of oration survived in rural Oromia and then eventually became what Dr. Asafa calls the cultural capital of the Oromo. So without further ado, my point here is this kind of free public meetings should be institutionalized. We have so many political parties who want to manipulate meetings or who want to bully meetings, who want to have a bully pulpit. We should not leave it as this. So these free political spaces that are already liberated by people should be institutionalized. One interesting incident here is a very senior Oromo politician went home, and then he was asked in the local media, so, sir, did you visit Oromia? Did you speak to the people? And Oromo? No, finished, don't worry. And he said, no, I can't go. The nature of meeting has changed. How do you speak in this situation? You just can't speak. So I didn't go. This crystallizes everything. The political landscape had changed. You cannot go and stand in the old style bully pulpit presentation. Today it is a people's assembly, and that people's assembly should be institutionalized in order to expand democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we appreciate Professor Daniel for finishing it on time. Next speaker, Dr. Solomon. I know his topic kind of discussed 5 minutes that Dr. Daniel left behind. And because he was my senior, when I was first undergraduate student, I will also give him 5 minutes of my time because I am the next presenter. So he has about 30 minutes to talk.
Yeah.
It begins now.
Thank you, Dr. Badasa. Yeah. Akkam bultan. Yeah. So, it's on there. Also, I think so. Yeah, it's already on there.
And
But
I'm sure you will thank me for extending his time because.
yeah. Okay, let's consider Dr. Badasa as my co-author for giving me his 5 minutes. Saying that, how beautiful is those farmers' villages. It's really beautiful by every rate. What does this guy do? Is he trying to push them off of their land? Why? Are they aware of this? I hope. Wanta amma wona dubbatame irratti hundooftanii kana kanaaf deebiin dhabdan jedhee yaada. Ka'umsaaf akkanaa ta'uufanii kana walitti fide. The topic of my talk today is the expansion of Finfinne and its impact on peri-urban farming community, specific the Oromo farming community. Ka'umsi dubbii kanaa maal ture? Naturein hojii kooti, I'm working global and I'm working with satellite image analysis. We are developing digital technology to give farmers the opportunity to make the best decision to manage their farm. So high resolution satellite data is what I'm working with. Now, maal godhan ture jaartii kootiini ijoollee mana barnootaatti qe'ee yaateeti gizeen galgala galuu Finfinneen yeroo akkasitti kana fakkaatti amma kana fakkaatti jedheen itti agarsiisaayu. Egaa tabaaf akka nutti tolutti dhaqeetti. Kana yeroo baay'ee argiti turteeyyuu OSA'n asitti akka inni kana geggeessu naa hubattu yaa gurbaa itteenaan maafi wanta kana natti agarsiiftu uummatatti agarsiiftu noo qabatamaan dhugaa lafarra jirudha. OSA'n asii atooti hin agarsiisiin deemnaan sin abaaraa inaan abaarsa sodaachan dhufe. Saying that, the objective of my talk is to show you guys the expansion trends of Finfinne based on high-resolution satellite imagery data since 1986. And I would also try to show you guys some geometric properties. This is completely scientific analysis, and I'm trying to give you guys the whole animation from 1986 all the way now. So my hope is when you get out of here, especially after my talk, I believe you would have the understanding that what happened in Finfinne over the years. So my second objective is to show the spatial settings of the recent years condominium housing development. I would focus on Koyefache and the Bole Arabsa. Last but not least, I would touch on the security of smallholder farmers. I did a little bit of research review in that regard. My methodology, as I started, as I said at the beginning, is digital processing and the GIS analysis of satellite footprints. So kun qabatamaani wanta dhugaa lafarra jirudha wal kaaduu hin dandeenye eenyuyyuu bakka kamitti deeme kun soba nuun jechuu hin danda'u. Kaniifi interesting ta'uu danda'a jedhee yaada. I also tried to review research studies from two of my best friends, Girma Alamu from Erasmus University, Rotterdam, and Girma Kumsa, his thesis during his Masters of Law from Addis Ababa University. Itti gala dubbiif akkanaa ta'uuf jedheeni, I put together 11 different images to create my mental image of what Finfinne looks like back in 1880s. This photo you see in front of you on the screen, I brought together 11 images and I used image processing to create my own mental image of Finfinne as a general background. Here we go. Finfinne, before 1887, was the village of Tulama Oromos. Oromos from far distance come to the village, mainly to enjoy the hot springs. And also they bring in their cattle and provide them water. Later on, jaartii isaa dura dhufee dhangaruu kan Minilik. Haati mana tufaaraddaan dhamanneedhani. Gaafa jaarsatti ergitee dhufeen dhiqadhaanisii jilbana dhukkubaa tabbi suni inxooxxooni qorra saatu waana dhukkubseennaan qofaa kottu jedheen jaarsi. Haati manaa manuu didde. Maaf qofaa kottetteeni dhuftee dhiqattu dhiisii jedheen jetteen. Jedhaan inni mee haa ta'u kaa dhuftuu jedhame. Dhufti isheetiin tolle gaafa isheen dhuftu qeekoo keessan burtuu godoo kana jaarii fedhee tabba gubbaatti ol baase. Tabbi sun beeta mangistii har'aa ta'e. Ka'umsi dubbiif adeemsa akkasi. Eventually, the Tulama Oromos beautiful village turned into the current day Finfinne. Asitti kanan agarsiisuuf yaalaa yeroo exactly Flohaan har'aa maal fakkaata. Tukuloonni kuni, I'm trying to mimic the current day Floha for that matter. The hot springs and the cattle. 1995, so I'm trying to see two extreme ends of important time in the history of Finfinne. We've seen 1880s, now 1990s. 1995, as you all know, the constitution was set up by the TPLF, and Article 49 was set to give surplus rights to Finfinne. The map of Finfinne was established in a way. It encompasses 6 zones, 28 waradas. 328 qabales were established, out of which 23 were rural farming community qabales. Basically, 23 Oromo inhabited qabales around Finfinne. Keep this in mind because it is very important when I go forward. Then, the total area of Finfinne was demarcated as 551 square kilometers. This was the boundary map of Finfinne forged by TPLF back in 1995. Forged. Objective 1, the expansion. Finfinne in 1986, this is the map of Finfinne in 1986. Finfinne looks like a ping pong racket in the middle of a big football field. I tried to analyze the satellite footprints, and the total area turned out 114 square kilometers. The distance from Lagatafo was 11.3 kilometers. Open space was 19%. Please try to pay attention to my numbers because we'll go back and forth in between those numbers as much as you could. Then, in 1991, area of Finfinne expanded to 140 square kilometers. Earlier it was 114, now it is 140. Distance from Lagatafo came down to 10.1. Finfinne is going towards Lagatafo. Open space reduced from 19% to 11.3%. Do we have pointer or something I can use? Okay. Yeah, so you can see in the southwestern side and the southeastern side, basically towards Alamgana and towards Akaki is the direction of expansion. The distance decrease, or how far we get close to Lagatafo was 1.2 kilometers. And the area increase was about 26 square kilometers. It's okay, we can accommodate that, but don't go far. That was how we approached it back then. We still forgot what happened to the Tufa Aradas village back in the time, and they said, okay, it's okay, 26 square kilometers, that's something we can accommodate. No, we should learn from our past experience, say that don't allow them even in. Then comes 1997. I'm taking very important time period, in the story of Finfinne. The area expanded extremely. Now you can see I'm trying to overlay two different maps. The top one is 1991 now. The orange color is 1997. The expansion got to 171 square kilometers. Area increase, 31 square kilometers. 31 square kilometers within those time might be small, but think of the cumulative effect. I'm walking you through the time frame. And the distance to Lagatafo became 5.2. We started with 11.3, now we are getting close to Lagatafo. This is a result of analysis of high resolution satellite imagery, and it is true. Now, 2,000, 208 square kilometers is the area, and the distance to Lagatafo reduced by 0.6, about 5 kilometers. 2005, 259, distance to Lagatafo, 6 kilometers. 2010, 305 square kilometers, distance to Lagatafo, 0.9. So I'm using Lagatafo as a benchmark so you can position yourself where Finfinne is going. This is one of the interesting images. In 2017, Finfinne looks like ugly beast. Consider that dot where Lagatafo is the eye of the beast. It has like the Ajip logo kind of legs with folding a gun on its foot and a forklift under his neck. And funny looking tail at the worst position. And the area, when I'm talking about area from here on, it is the built up area. There is an open space. So 420, the total area of Finfinne is 551. The built up area out of that is 420. Keep that in mind. Now, let us analyze the radial expansion. If you consider the radial expansion, the first circle is showing you the base year, 1986. Now, we are in 1997, the middle circle is 1991. The radial expansion, which means the radius that can roll around the built-up area of Finfinne was 7 kilometers. In 1986, in 1997, it's 8.4. Well, it's okay. 2% annual increase. It's okay now. Look at this. We are in 2005. Now, the aerial expansion, the radial expansion from the 6.9 was 13.5. What was the percent increase annually? 5% annual radial increase. Okay? And in 2010, look how the radial expansion is. When I'm talking about radial expansion, there are open spaces. We will talk about that and how we understand what its effect will be going forward. 2017, I tried to put the increase in radius year after year, and so the average is about 5% every year. Where are we heading to? I tried to fit a model that can help us predict where Finfinne is going to end up. According to my model, Finfinne is expanding laterally disproportionately. The city could have 40-kilometer radius in the coming 25 years. 40-kilometer radius. This signals a big warning to the 4 Oromia waradas or districts. I'm talking about Barahalaltu, Akaki, Nafas Silk, and Walmara. The big question is, if this radial expansion keeps going on and on, Finfinne could take the entire area of Nazareth in how many years? Maybe in around 2028, 2030, if we allow them to go the way this expanding. In order to predict where you are, put your year in the equation where it says year. If you can put 2028, it would actually give you the distance the city would get to. Area-wise, I also tried to fit a model, and my model is indicating built-up area of Finfinne was 421 square kilometer in 2017. That came to 608. Officially, the total area of Finfinne is 551, but the current built-up area of Finfinne is 608. It doesn't give sense at all. What does it mean? The legal boundary, even accepting that forged map of 1995 TPLF map, it doesn't give sense at all. 57 square kilometer more than it is constitutional 551 square kilometer area. If we see how diagonal Finfinne is going, you would see a big open space in the circle, right, in the 4 directions. It goes towards Sandafa, towards Alamgana, towards Akaki, towards, say it again, towards Ambu. Now, what does this tell? There is an index called Compactness Index. Cities that are high in Compactness Index are very economic and attractive cities to live in. Compactness Index basically is total built-up area divided by total area of the circle. Remember those circles? If we divide by total area of the circle with the radius of the city, it would give us the CI value. High CI value mean less open space. I'm sorry, I missed there. Less CI value is more open space, more commute time. When it is stretching diagonally, that means people are following to get better service of road infrastructures, telephone service, water service, and the other areas are not inhibited. So in order to get to your workplace, you have to drive long distance or to take a ride over long distance. That makes it uneconomical. To get to market, to get to school, all those things will be compromised. CI value greater than 0.6 is poorly planned city in general. Now, you can see, probably I have missed something here. CI values less than 0.6, not more than. I kind of missed it there, I apologize. Anyhow, currently the CI value of Finfinne is 0.43, which means it is uneconomical and less attractive to live in. Really not attractive to live in. You're gonna commute long time to your workplace, highly crowded, the CI index is very low. And if I overlay the total, the current built up area, the total built up area and the 1995 forged map, Finfinne looks like this. And if we look into the actual master plan that put the life of 5,000 kids into compromise, it looks like this. It goes all the way to Ambu. It gets 128 from north-south, 107 kilometers from east-west. And my good friend, Obuagari Galata, when I tried to show him this, he told me this is a model of brain tumor. The eye is Sandafa. Here is the neck at the bottom. You can see the nose. It looks like human head with a big tumor inside it. Did you guys get it? Yeah. This tumor shouldn't grow. We should pay any sacrifices we can. As those 5,000, let's not forget the life of those 5,000. And let us think of what would happen to the poor Oromo farmers. Now, my objective too, spatial setting of condominiums, the case of Koyefeche and the Bola Arabsa. I'm only using the same satellite analysis, and I don't have a lot to say on here. Koyefeche is southeast of Addis Ababa. You can see how Addis Ababa is stretching. This is the actual footprint. Bole Arabsa is exactly on the east side. Now, let us look closely where Koyefeche is. There are a lot of farmlands in the middle, big buildings. Let us put it more close. You can see the farmlands and the big buildings all around. More interesting, Bole Arabsa. Remember, this is the west side, and here is the east side. Let us look closely. These are the buildings. But remember, this open space was left open deliberately. They call it Korata. They cut in between and they start building into the farmers' fields, way to the east. And open space was secured on the other side. I was surprised when I saw this. This is exactly what is on the ground right now. This imagery was taken recently, and it is true, and this is what we are in. The impacts, to go through quickly, creating continuing expansion of aglands, created continuing expropriation of aglands of smallholder Oromo farmers. This is the big impact. Losing property right of land is a big risk. My friend Amsal talked about it. Bonnie said about it yesterday. It is the major source of income for our farmers, but they are losing their farms, being paid 1 year income to leave their farm forever. What does it mean? The payment they are paid is for 1 year of their produce, but they are leaving the land forever. Are they going to die next year? There is no life after next year. There are no grandkids to take over the land. They should have calculated the income at least for a period of 30 years. They didn't do that. And 51,000 families were at risk. 35% of them are deprived of their land already. This is actual data. And 7,172 hectares of land is under big risk, and here is where the land is. Displacement without consultation or agreement of the farmers is disrespect. It is a big disrespect to the Oromo community, a big disrespect to us as Oromos, a big disrespect to the Oromia regional state. I'm saying this seriously. How so? You are taking, I was in a court case. There was a pipeline going through South Dakota, through 6 counties. The farmers sued the company, and I was an expert witness. What happened was, the farmers complained, this company has compacted our soil. We need to be paid $186 million. And my job was, is it real? The soil is compacted. And did they turn it over the subsoil, the infertile subsoil, and made a destruction to the growers' field? To make it short, the growers were paid the money they deserve. For a single reason, they compacted, they went through their land. But when I'm thinking about my Oromo family back in Koyefache and Bole Arabsa, they are kicked off their land and paid 1 year of their produce calculated at the lowest rate possible. That is not the way the game should be. That is why college students paid their life. Guys, let us come together. Let us put hands together and fight for this. Lack of subsequent programs even after they moved from their land. All they does is you can be a watch, a guard, a watchman on those buildings. I'm not made to be a watchman. I'm equally created to have a property, to live life the way others live in those big buildings. Our family, Oromo people out there, they deserve to live in those buildings too. Corrupt practices. Their engineers, when they are measuring the land, if it is 10,000 square meters, they say it is only 500. The rest, it goes into, they got rich really in a way you can't think. To finish my presentation, I have a case study from Duka. What happened was, the Duka municipality took a land from a poor farmer. There are two actually. They paid them $142,000. I think the rate was calculated by $8, something like Bonnie said yesterday. And the land was granted to African Equipment Part Services. This I'm talking about, I have the legal document, a copy of the legal document in my hand. There is a movement back home to help growers get back to their place and to force those guys who took the land not to build anything. There is a work we were doing in that area. For that very reason, I have the document in my hands right now. And what happened was, the municipality gave to this African Equipment Part Services a lease of 4 years for a rate of 180,000 per year. If you multiply that by 40, it's gonna be $7.2 million. The farmer was paid 142 birr. This is the bad side and the craziness of our story. As a conclusion, let Finfinne go back to its boundary of year 1995. Respect the boundary of Oromia and the tenure right of Oromo people. Finfinne may expand to accommodate its population and the economic growth, but without compromising the status and the living condition of a single Oromo person. It can expand. It is an expansion of cities is natural, but without compromising a single Oromo person. Out of the boundary when it comes to into the Oromia region, it's not the right of the Addis Ababa municipality. It is our right. Let's fight for that. Finally, I would say I love actually Kenya. Hilani. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. This is the arrows.
Okay. Everyone gives them a computer.
And then, do you want me to keep time for you?
Yes, actually I do. Here, Nakabudan. Yeah. Galatumi. Oh, okay. It's my turn. Daika Kurashanan Kaba. Thank you, Dr. Solomon. Two things I want to say. Why Dr. Solomon? Namichatu for Ijolensa Agricultural University Galani Baratnani, just like me, Mal Baratet of Ted. Kotisam Baratet. Mal one Baratet of the Kotisabarat, which Asatin. Dr. Solomon Kotisabaratijalka. I will leave it there. The second one, there is a way to address it. That's what I'm talking about here. One Dr. Solomon Jede, solution in Jira. Akkatti addressi godhan ni jira rakkin arkaan. Yoo akka lammaa bagabayaa ta'uu baanne warri bara Haayila Sillaasee barattan beektu. lammaatu harroota yaabbatee jookii kana biyyattis dubbadheera. Lammaatu harroota 10 oofee gabaa dhaqe. Yennaa midhaan isaa gurguratee galu lammaa magarsaa jechuu koo miti jechuudha. Yennaa midhaan isaa gurguratee galu harree ishee tokko yaabbatee gala. Warra kaan 9 oofaa jira. Harroota isaa lakkoofnaan 9 duwwaa arge. Isheen 10 ishee irra taa'u irraanfatee. Harreen kana jalaa baddee jedhee iyyuutti ta'e. So akkuma ammaa warri Oromiyaa bushaa jiran Oromiyaa yoo irraanfatan malee akkuma lamma harree yaabbatee deemu sanaa jechuudha. There is a way to address it. Yoo wallaalanii Oromo has enough intellectuals to help them. Hojjechuu ni dandeenya. So what is the way to address it? Rakkina Oromoo ani ku dandeenyu kaleessas dubbatameera yaada baarootumsaa dhugoomsuutiinidha. Oromo land. Making lasting positive changes in Oromo lives. Or hundee tajaajila ofiin of bulchuu mirkaneessan ittiin mirkaneessan lafa kaa'u. Okay? So Oromo land, the concept of lafa Oromo yoo dhugoomsine rakkina kana solvii goona. What is Oromo land jedhanii nu gaafatu namni maa jechuu keeti jedhu. Oromo land jechuuni land that is the private property of Oromos and those who are legal residents of Oromia. Keessummoota keenya ariina jechuu koo miti. We can accommodate them. Garuu lafa Oromiyaa keessa jiru han jiraattota isaa, han Oromootaa, han dhuunfaa isaanii yoo goonee dhugoomsine jechaadha. That's what I mean by Oromo land. Or yoo kana goone, yoo sana dhugoomsine Ingiliffaatiin autonomy fostering service project jenna. Or jechuu dandeenya hundee tajaajila ofiin of bulchuu jechuus dandeenya. Maaliif? Why is it important? Maaliif kun solutionii ta'a? Land is a real deal. Baay'ee isaa keessan galuu wanta laman sinii jedha jechoota Oromoo keessaa lafa qabaachuu fi lafee dugdaa qabaachuun tokko. Jecha Oromoota keessaa eebba Oromoota keessaa caba lafee dhukkuba ilkaanii fi lafarraa buqqa'uu siyaa baraaruu jedhu. Oromos know the value of land, the importance of land. Land is real deal. Maaliif sana jedhu yoo jettani, maaliif lafarratti fokasii gochuu qabna yoo jettani, as an economist yaadan sinii kennu. Tokko namoonni Oromiyaa keessa jiraatan akkuma Itoophiyaa keessa warra jiranii hundumaa qotiisa irratti hundaa'u namni garri caalu. They depend on farming. You cannot be a farmer without a farmland. I emphasize, you cannot be a farmer without a farmland. If you don't have a land, you are a farm worker, not a farmer. Lafa Oromoo han Oromoo godhanii dhugoomsuuni tokko buqqa'umsa ilmaan Oromoo qe'ee isaanii irraa dhaaba. Displacement of Oromo people, exactly what we are looking at here. Lama, mass conversion of Oromos from farmers to farm workers. Maaltu ta'aa jira beektu biyyatti? Qotee bulaatu hojjetaa qotiisaatti geeddaramaa jira. Nama lafa qabatee qotee nyaatee maatii isaa guddifatutu akka warra immigiraantii biyyan biraatii dhufanii biyya kana faarmii irratti hojjetan beektu miti? Akkas ta'aa jira qe'eesaatti. It stops that. Yoo konseptii Oromoo land, konseptii baarootumsaa kana wanni jenna. Baarootumsaa land to the tiller han inni jedhe abbaa lafaa warra nafxanyaa lafa qabatee jirurraa lafa fuudhee qotee bulaan akka qotee buluuf ture miti? Dargin itti fayyadame miti? No, there is a second phase to that. Abbaa lafummaa feudalismiitu bade. Garuu ownership in qabaanne Oromoon qeessaatti biyya isaatti. Yoo qotee bulaa ta'e a farmer has an asset or has asset, can have asset. Lafa qaba, farmland, farm animals, farmhouse, farm produce or harvest. Qotee bulaa yoo ta'e. What about a farm worker? Labor isaa duwwaa qaba. Humna isaa duwwaa qaba farm worker. In kanaan gargar baasu farm worker farmerii. Qotee bulaan qabeenya isaa kanatti hundaa'ee liqeeffachuu danda'a. Garuu farm workeriin humna isaa duwwaatti inni liqeeffatu. So owning a piece of land haa xinnaattu iyyuu malee determines the upward economic mobility jenna economics keessatti borumtaa keenya. Otoo warri koo lafa hin qabaanne lafa itti qotan hin qabaanne I am sure ani asin ga'u baradhe. Baay'een keenya iddoo geenyu hin jirru. Maaliif humna isaanii duwwaa irratti hundaa'u lafarraa waan oomishan duwwaa otoo hin ta'in. Sangaa isaanii gurguranii yoo lafa hin qabaanne sangaa horsiisuu hin dandeessan. Lafa isaanii qabsiisanii qe'ee isaanii waa godhanii asin nu gaaniiru. Sun hundinuu gochuu hin danda'an turanii jecha. Nama humna qabuuf maal liqeessitu? Nama maal isaa qabatanii maal qabatee waa liqeeffata? Okay? So the big question is, how can we make the concept of Oromo land a reality? Ani warra OPDO deeggaru. Garuu otoo waan Oromoo fayyadu dhugoomsine I will work for them. Isa dhugaan sinitti. And there are many Oromos who would work for them. Simple example. Simple. Homaan barbaachisu kun. Du'a jechaan barbaachisu. Otoo barbaadanii practical examples that even the OPDOs can do right now without a lot of things. Finfinneen an Oromooti, Oromiyaadhaa, Oromiyaan Finfinneedhaa. Oduu nurraa dhaabaa, nurraa usaa jechuu danda'u. Hundumaatiin simple line. They can make that. Mootummaa bushaa jiru miti. They can do that. No more Addis Ababa, it is Finfinnee jechuu danda'u. Salphaatti. Each locality maqaa isaanii Oromootti geeddaruu danda'u. Hinnuma torban tokkoof wacciin dhaabatti. Warri kana. This is achievement here. Otoo OPDO'n kana goote. Okay? They can do that. Kuni waan baay'een qabu. Isa kaan sinitti anima. Long term. Otoo namni Oromoof dhaabatu iddoo isaa geeddaree iddoo isaanii onni otoo electioniin godhamee maal gochuu akkana. How can we make that possible? First, Constitution Ethiopiyaa keessa chapter 10 article 89 lafa hammootummaa ka godhe sana geeddaruu. Okay? Lafni hammootummaati issue wanni qaba accessii qaba malee ilmaan Oromoo change that. Why? Economics itti maal jenna? By virtue of who they are, that is people, nama gatii taanee fi however uneducated we are or we might be, we are smarter than a non-productive entity, that is the government. Mootummaan non-productive dha. Biyyatti utuun kana jedhee nan hidhama. Asitti garuu akkas jedheen barsiisa. Eessattuu mootummaan non-productive entity dha. So it has no business in any productive asset wanni keessatti. So important asset to the farmer. Land ini lafa qotee bulaaf kennamuu qaba. That's why it should be bestowed to its rightful owners. Lafti Oromiyaa san Oromoon Amaaraas Amaaraaf yoo kenname hundumaafuun fayyada kun. So maal gochuu danda'u? Yaada baarootumsaatti deemu. Land reform as autonomy service delivery project. Phase 1 abbaa lafaa balleessuu ture. Phase 2 immoo dhugoomsu abbaa lafummaa dhugoomsu. And then sanaa booda federal government yoo sana godhe then stop interfering in regional state affairs. Each of the state can handle their own issues according to the federal government laws. Otoo land wanni ta'e. Yo concept in Oromo wanni kuni ani asitti dhiyeessu kuni we can have federal lands, we can have state lands, we can have privatized land, majority of it. Okay? Mootummaan isaanitti ajajuu qaba like parks, recreations. State government isaanitti isa kireessanii homa godhanii iddoo qabu, iddoo albuudaa waa baasanii inni kaan hundinuu waan qotee bulaa hektaara walakkaallee haa taatu privatized land. Yoo sana ta'e kana hundumaa yoo godhanii okay mootummaan or paartiin siyaasaa Oromoof dhaabatu or biyya sanaaf dhaabatu kana gochuu OPDOnis kana gochuu danda'u by the way. If they did this, I am 100% sure they can compete with OLF without auto fighting godin. Wabootiin auto fighting godin. They can compete them against them. Auto kana hojjetanii auto taayitarra jiranii. Garuu do they have the backbone to do that? Only God knows. And mariitii advantage isaa maal qabaa kana hundaa keessa deemee wanni godhu tokko waan qubeen nu godhe caalaa nu godhaa too kana godhe lammata mootummaan biyya sana bushuuf deemu abbaa feeyyuu haa ta'u Amaaraas haa ta'u Tigrees haa ta'u Guraagees haa ta'u waan fe'aa ta'u lafa keenya qabaannaan Oromoon hektaara walakkaa qabaannaan namni sin bira dhufee vootii naa godhi jedhu only maaliif kanan sii godha kana bu'aan sii buusaa I need your vote ani ittiin sin doorsisuu hin qabu mootummaan lafti privately taanaan ittiin ilmaan Oromoo or warra kaaniyyuu doorsisuu hin qabu warri biyya biraas dhufani seera state Oromiyaa bu'aafate keessa jiru I want to say one thing there seera lafti kun hankeeti jedhamee daangaan murtaa'ee seerri sun baay'ee statein mataasaa murteeffachuu dandeenyaani if we can stand on our own and we can sana goonaani Oromoon akkatti obbushu akkatti seerattiin bulatu erga sana ta'e booda important state majority of the people own yoosa ta'e seera gadaatiin buluu danda'a Oromoon yoosa barbaachise Amaaris Tigreenis Guraageenis haa dhufu seera keenyaan bula akkuma gadaan jedhu takka nuti baasannetti jechaadha warri Amaaraa immoo barbaadanii Christianity state religion gochuu danda'u yoo Oromoo taatanii achi dhaqxanii isaaftu yoo jibbitan iddoo barbaadan deemtu jechaadha that's how it is wanni hin qabu kuni seeta yoo asiitii North Carolina deemtani ani deemeen argeera akkuma seera North Carolinaatti jiraattu or Michigan deemtan the same thing can happen in Ethiopia too OPDO can do that what would it involve two things I want to say sana gochuuf sana realize gochuuf before we change before we create this attamitti private land it deemna sa jedhu survey duraan dursine kuno Dr. Solomon jira nu agarsiiseera we can have imagery satellite imagery we can do survey of who owns the land, how they came to own it, and so on. This can create a job for about 6 million Oromo youths to do the survey. Right now, unemployment rakkin Ethiopia keessa jiru amma. Among these, we can create that for the next 6 to 1 year to create that data. Database in sun hojjennani. Then we can have a process to redistribute the land and determine who gets how much and so on. And affirm that by giving them the tenure right. Callisameen ta'u akka odeessamu miti documentii page 80 something in barreesseera. That's what I'm talking here. You know what? People know that. Jaarmiyaan Oromoof dhaabatu otoo nagaan jiraatee filannoon deemamee taayitaa uummata Oromoof kennamee ittiin hojjechuu fi qophiidha. Warra OPDO fi kenna yoo barbaadan. I don't need any payment. There are many other Oromos who could do that as long as it works for the Oromo people. Asumaratan naaf. Galatoma. I think it is a question and answer Q&A time. As Nakotati, 3 short questions jetteetti presidentini. So akkasan godha. I will one ifatama naa godha here jalqaba harka kaasee there 2 a young guy over there and 3 duuba dubartii tokko I know I have a lot of friends sana keessaa maybe nam tokko beeka I don't know introduce yourself and then young guy between the two and then dubartii over there that's what I saw. Start there.
I trusted my voice, that's why. Professor Daniel Public Assembly Institutional Idea
Gaaffii tokkotti murteessi gaaffii kee. Sorry.
That's it? Yeah. Oh, God.
Over there.
Gafiko Odaniliti or Solomoniti. So, with regard to the Imawai staging, Umamuka the whole point is we have to create a stage that all these ideas are entertained. So my question is that I know all of us are aware that Dr. Jamal, Dr. Asafa, Dr. Guruma, and everyone was working on the global Gumi Oromia, which is actually what we were talking about, what we should be creating. Not only that, and also Joanne and everybody was working on the convention. So my question is, instead of kind of giving a recommendation or that kind of stuff, would it be good to kind of assess those and why it's not going past as if it has to be? It's literally that's what we were talking about. That's my question. When it comes to Dr. Solomon, is that
Gaaffii lama gaafachaa jirtu. Gaaffii lama.
This is question I took one from him, so let me just add one. No mind. So Dr. Mark only. So
I gave you one question.
Hello everyone, my name is Holy. My question is about the land expansion. I guess when I think of the land expansions that are happening back home, I also try to think about who is most responsible for that, and if we are aware of kind of the influence of Westerners and also the Chinese entities that are responsible. And I guess my question is, what are we doing to address those individuals, and how are we holding ourselves accountable, and them accountable for what is happening? Because in part, I feel like as Oromo people, we have that responsibility to say, like, this is unacceptable that you are coming into our country. But sometimes I think as Oromos, we see Western influence or Chinese influence as something that is positive. And yes, maybe it could be, but I think they're having a stronger hold on us than they should.
Okay.
Okay, the first question is for me, how do we institutionalize the public assembly? Right now, there are a lot of talks about many political parties going for elections, competing for elections, and all kinds of things. But the format is not finalized. So at this moment, what I am suggesting and what I am really wary of is that the political parties, whoever is in power, could simply change every meeting into a bully session. Once you have a party in power, the assembly, the meeting, the public meeting could be a forum for basically bullying and then using that power. And then from that you find the abuse of power. So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to suggest at this moment, I know what the others are doing and working, is that this forum, a free forum, a public forum, should be granted a constitutional right. And my idea here is not just for the Oromo, actually. Our region is a geo-cultural unit in terms of this assembly. Each of the Afro-Asiatic community or group in our region have these assemblies. And they have been manipulated all in many different ways. For instance, the TPLF came to power by using Baito. Baito is a local assembly. Baito is now totally tied down by the TPLF. No other political party within Tigray can go into a Baito and do anything. And so that's what I wanted to emphasize here. This should be given a special recognition legally. The second is about the political parties, about the democratization. You cannot democratize without having a free forum for the public. Here in the United States, you know, town hall meeting, when their congressional delegation, senatorial delegation is misbehaving, that is where they account for. That's where they come and get punishment because people express their discontent. And that town hall meeting is a free, and it comes from European village assemblies and town assembly meeting. It has its roots deep there, and it expanded historically by the public participating in local activities. During the westward expansion in this country, it is the town hall meetings that brought people together, people who do not know each other. They formed a community in these, and the leader is known as a moderator, not a chairman or something, although the word chairman is okay. The leader of that meeting is called a moderator because different ideas come up, and so that's what I am suggesting in this case, and it is a very simple idea. It doesn't go against anyone's project. It can be incorporated into, but my point is to get to make emphasis or to create recognition about this institution.
Yeah, I would try to answer the last question. Thank you for that good question, actually. For me, after reviewing many documents, I would like to say, with regard to responsibility, there are several organizations, institutions that are responsible for what happened with regard to the expansion of Finfinne and its impact on the Oromo community. First and foremost, the Oromia state. Let's keep aside for now what those foreign organization countries did funding those projects. Let us start from inside. The Oromia government is for the Oromos, right? If we all agree on that concept, first and foremost, the Oromia government is not up to its responsibility to protect the Oromos and their land. Second, the state of Ethiopia. They were supposed to do the right thing for the right reason. I am of the opinion that the constitution established in 1995 was by TPLF. For me, I'm sorry to say this, and I'm very proud to act against it. The TPLF is officially designed such crazy, killer idea and promoted it in front of our eye. So the state of Ethiopia. Third, before we point finger at those countries who are doing business at the expense of Oromo life, I want to point finger at you and me. We are responsible for that. I like Gandhi for one thing. When the British colonizers were hard on the Indians, he told them, fight. If you don't let them do what they are doing to you, they can't do. If you allow them to do it, they will do it. Of course, all the funding companies, all the business, foreign business promoting countries, China, whatever you have. They didn't do, or they didn't give the loans with responsibility. But I give them damn if and irresponsibility, as you have mentioned. Thank you.
Yeroon keenya dhumeera garuu waa tokko jechuun barbaada akka moderatory sessionii kanaatti. Who is responsible broadly? Mootummaan amma Ethiopia bushaa jiru, and Oromiyaas bushaa jiru. Do you remember what % of what they got last round? Percentage of 99 point something? 100%? Right? Isaantu biyya bushaa jira. Isaantu responsibility. Amma immoo kaleessa maal jechaa turre? Mootummaa Opiidiyoo Oromootu biyya bushaa jira jechaa jira miti. You know why? Maaliif akka inni bookkisu Abiy beektu? I want to speak irrespective of my political view. Maaliif akka inni bookkisu beektu? So as to oduu dhugaa Oromoo kanaa dhoksuufi han inni bookkisu. Kana ture han nama mar'achiisu malee maaliif akka inni uummata Oromoo irratti lola banu beektu? Dhugaa kana gadi bahaay. And otoo isaan kana hojjetani, even on its face value, a little bit of these things that we said, it doesn't matter. The Oromos would support them. Isa dhugaan siniin jedha. Kanammoo han enabli goonu eenyudha beektu? Largely, those of us here who, for benefit of a piece of land, a little bit of power position, of gurgurree, sammuu keenya gurgurree, dhaqnee isaa wajjin hojjini. Work for the Oromo people. Hinduutani qabdu jiraattaniitu. Singaa. And then, what is Hasakan? Not my view. The political, we can vote for anyone we want. But Oromo hojjedha, hojjechiisa. That's all I want. Thank you.
One of the biggest obstacles to social justice, and really one of the biggest objectives of this conference, was to explore land grabbing, the eviction of farmers, and the displacement of farmers. And I really appreciate Dr. Solomon and Dr. Badasa for exploring that. And also Dr. Ayana, I want to thank you also for really not introducing, but really introducing, I guess, to this audience, the idea that the People's Assembly is an important tool for democratization. So can we please thank this panel again? It was really critical. And we're going to move on to the round table. If the presenters or the participants could come. The roundtable is going to be on the efforts of GGO in rebuilding national institutions in Oromo society.
Can I do one minute announcement about lunch?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Dhiifama naa godha gidduutiin jeequu kootii fi akka mooltan hundumti keessanii laaqana hoteela Oromoo irraa binneefinne warri kaleessa sunu nyaatanii waaqayyo sinaa eebbisu bunas qabnaa gatii isaa jijjiirreerraa osaanii nuumarraa argateeti kan inni galmaafis waan hundumaafis kaffalu nyaata bareedaa finnee jirra adaraa hundumti keessan argamaati nu nyaadhaa maaliif yoo nurkattafee osaan lafa fidee kaffalulleen qabu jechuudha nageetivii gala kanumanis nafeeruu barbaada kaleessa inni raanfannee bishaanii nyaata wajjin providing taane har'a yeroo nyaata keessan fudhattanii bishaanis duukaa gaafadhaa bunnis jira buna ho'aa isaa jira qopheessinee sineegnaa kanuma jechuu barbaadeeni ulfaadha.
Could Dr. Guluma, Oba Jamal, Dr. Jalata? I was going to say, okay, does anyone have a presentation or something? No, they are all just as a conversation, right?
So which direction is it?
I think that's what because yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I think I had
Hello, everyone. I am happy to be introducing our first roundtable of the day. We will be talking about the efforts of Global Gumi Oromia, short GGO, in rebuilding national institutions in Oromo society. It's a pivotal topic to be discussing during this transition period, and we have the honor of listening to a conversation between distinguished members from Oromo society. Dr. Guluma Gamada, Dr. Savage Aleta, and Jamal Ibrahim Sadiq will be sharing their perspective. Jamal Ibrahim Sadiq is a very active and well-known member of the Oromo community. Jamal was involved in the Oromo Students' Union and has been serving in different Oromo organizations for many years, both in Europe and in the United States. He holds 2 master's degrees, one in civil engineering and the other one in software engineering. He is a Microsoft certified systems engineer and works for the state of Minnesota as a software developer. Currently, he is the executive director of GGO, and we are very happy to have him here. So give him a round of applause. Dr. Guluma Gamada is a familiar scholar and longtime member of OSA. Yesterday, we had the pleasure of hearing his talk on the rise of the Karreg Ero movement, where he shared his profound knowledge with us. He is an associate professor and former chair of the Department of African Studies at the University of Michigan Flint. He serves currently as an OSA board member and has published numerous books and articles. Thank you, Dr. Guluma, for participating in our roundtable. We are looking forward to hear you speak. And our last panelist is Dr. Savage Aleta. I'm sure many of you know him. He's a professor of sociology and global and African studies at the University of Tennessee. He is an established scholar. Previous presentations were quoting some of his work. For many years now, he has been serving our community in various positions and has many achievements. However, there is one particular one I would like to highlight. For those who do not know, Ad Saitun and Dr. Savage Aleta are the parents of an intelligent, kind, and confident young woman who today is our president. So, to the both of you, thank you for raising our first female OSA president.
Thank you.
So, if one of you could start by introducing GGO and giving us some background for those who do not know.
All right, okay. All right. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yes, we will be talking about the GGO, Global Gumi Oromia. This is the initiative that some of us, those of us here and many others were involved in instituting over the last 3 years. It started from the concern that we had, the problem that our colleagues have already presented today, the challenges facing our people at home, and the lack of coordination working together in the diaspora. Of course, there are several initiatives that all of you are involved in, directly helping our people at home,
financially or through otherwise, through all means. But our concern at the time was that we didn't really have a coordinated way of doing this more efficiently and more effectively. So it started with a conversation initiated by Professor Savage Aleta here and contacting the rest of us. And we had several teleconference meetings lasting for several hours for months. In fact, over a year before we came up with GGO or Global Gumi Oromia as an organization. In the process, in fact, we learned a lot of things. One, the potential that we have and what we could accomplish. But at the same time, we also, in fact, unfortunately faced a lot of challenge, unnecessary challenge. I will not go into those details right now. But some of you or most of you are aware of them because this was officially and publicly communicated. People were invited to an open forum. And when 2 years ago, when it was officially instituted here in this town, in this city, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we had over, I guess, 500, 600 people attending the founding conference, really quite successful, beyond our imagination, in spite of the fact that we had a number of counter information going on for whatever reason. But since then, in fact, we are trying to continue this, and my colleagues here will explain more. So that's all I want to say at this moment. Maybe my colleague Abu Jamal probably will summarize it also in Afan Oromo, and I would like to move to what I just wanted to say today, not just introducing Gumi and how it came about and what it is doing today, because all of us will share that information. But I just wanted to put the need for Gumi and similar kinds of institution building in general, because we need institutions. Our nation, the Oromo nation, had very, very good institutions built over the years, as many of you were talking about this yesterday and still today. But unfortunately, over the last century and a half, those institutions were not functioning. Some destroyed. We are left, in fact, mostly with the memory of those institutions instead of a functioning institution to solve our problems, to live our lives. So we need either one, rebuild those institutions that served the Oromo nation beautifully before they were destroyed or weakened, or also, in fact, update them to serve the present generation and the future generation, because institutions actually really need to be updated to meet the challenge of the day. In fact, the way the Gada system was built is not, in fact, just a system built once and for all. It has gone through several processes, several years of decline and comeback and rise. There were periods of reform, period of destruction and reform, but when the institution was reformed, it added new features that responded to the immediate issues, immediate problems of the time. So the institutions we rebuild based on the old model, on the previous model, and or build today, in fact, should address our problems of today, not only just historical. But we know that GADA is a very good institution which could be updated, which could serve as a very useful model, not only for us, but for our neighbors and for any society. So we have to go back to those models. So Gumi, in a way, is actually an attempt to do that, to use the GADA model of serving the Oromo in the diaspora as well as Oromo at home, through which we can address our problems, political, economic, for those of us in the diaspora, of the settlement and adjustment into a new culture over which we don't have full control. But in Oromia, at least, our people should have full power, full authority to shape their affairs, to rebuild GADA. So that's our vision. But very quickly, let me say this. I think some of you have seen a couple of things. I hate saying this, actually, Elim. It's not like promoting whatever you did. We shouldn't do that. Actually, the GADA practice doesn't allow us to promote ourselves. It's not a promotion. So just a reference to those of you who may have not seen, or those of you who have seen, there were a couple of things I made available to the readers in the last 4 years. There is one is available in the Journal of Oromo Studies. The title is The Glory and the Price of Serving Empire. It's basically, those of you who have read it know, basically, in fact, it's focused on people who had joined the Ethiopian Abyssinian state some 300 years ago, or since then, since the 16th, the 17th century, and how they survived, how they fared, what was their fate. In fact, they were looking, this was not a collective Oromo interest, they were looking for their personal interest, their personal glory, personal success. Some of them did find that ambition, but there were many who didn't, who joined but didn't. Even those who joined and found some glory for a while ended up in disaster. So as a historian, I just looked at the lives of a few of those people we know from the records and traced them over a period of at least 2 centuries to the end of the 19th century, 1900. If we can learn a lesson from that, actually my intention at the time was to extend it in another piece to the present, from 1900 to the present. I've not done that yet, maybe I might do or next. But in the last part of it, a couple of paragraphs, I've kind of hinted into today, because we study history not only just to know the past, but also to get some guidance of where we are and where we will go. So I have put some points of where we are right now, although I have not written that part, and what lesson we can learn from that 200 or so years of Oromo individuals and groups who have worked within the Ethiopian state system, the kind of glory they had achieved. In fact, right now this issue came back, and currently there is a lot of story about the Oromo presence, the Oromo contribution to the Ethiopian state. Ethiopian state with an Oromo is impossible. Look at so and so. Yes, I think those stories are true. There were many Oromos in the system for at least the last 300 years. But where are these people? Where are their families? What happened to them? What kind of glory they achieved and lost? Why did they lose? Does the system allow them? These were the issues actually we have to look into, and what we are doing today, and assess and reassess our own positions. All who are working and embracing, there is no working within the system, the dangers, The second piece, in fact, which is available, it's not really any scholarly research-based, but kind of a commentary I put out, I think 2 years ago, comparing two things, institutions. One is what I called the OSA system, with the kingship, the Ethiopian kingship system, and the other is Oromo. And then the Gada system of the Oromo. So I made kind of a simple comparison and how these two systems work. One is a top-down system, starts with the king who has every power and every knowledge and the rest is the hierarchy of the people appointed by the king, the Ase, down to the individual person. This system of the Ase had been built over centuries. It's very deep. It has gone into all aspects of the Ethiopian life, mostly in the northern part of the country. And this system, tell me if I'm going over time. This system relies on one person, the king. So that's how it functions. Power transfer is very brutal most of the time. Normally, the king should be succeeded by a relative member, maybe male member of the family, but it doesn't happen that way. A transition always is violent before another comes on. And so this cycle of violence and conspiracy to gain it, to get it, that's the tradition. That's what we know as the Ethiopian state system, state institution. Well, the Oromo, except in the all Oromos, with the exception of those I have mentioned earlier, joined the system early on. The majority of the Oromo people have not been part of this system until, in fact, the last 150 years. 150 years. And we all know we lived with, we use the Gada system, which is a different kind of system. It's not top-down. It's what my friend Daniel just mentioned today. Is a public forum. Issues come up. We do it in an assembly where all members of that community or that nation participate and discuss and eventually reach a decision. The decision-making process in modern Western democracies is a majority. It's decided by the majority vote. The Oromo type was not a majority vote. It's a consensus. They didn't want to allow even one dissenter to be suppressed, because the dissenter would create 5-6 groups by next day and will come back, in fact, with a revenge and dismantling the organization. So decision making takes longer, but what they do is, in fact, finally more concrete, and that everybody Okay. So the decision made is with consensus, with agreement of everybody, that fully convinced that everybody will implement it. So when we all came together under the OSA system, we have to give up that. We have to merge two entirely different systems of governance into one and live under that. That's our problem. Well, we don't have a OSA now, the king. In fact, the kingship was abolished in 1975. But the system of the OSA, or the mentality, the political mentality of the OSA, in fact, has not ended. Because these institutions built over centuries don't go away. So the mentality, the political mentality is still the same. And because of that, I think we have a lot of problems reconciling these two. So how could we do that? Well, my friend Badasa actually really has the solution. That's one option we have for us to consider. Maybe I'll leave that for our discussion later on, and I have to pass on to my friend Jamal. Thank you.
I will try my best.
I find it now.
Okay. All right, I can wait the perfect agenda. Which one is this? Okay. jalqabeera hin jalqabne miti. Oh akkasii. Ayyee nagaa oltanii. Maqaan kiyya Jamaal Ibrahim jedhama. Ani irra guddina afaan Oromoo dubbachuu jaaladha waan ta'eef yoo warri afaan Oromoo dhageenye natti hin dallaninaa garuu wal keessa makaatumaan dubbadha. Afaan ittiin dhaladheef guddadha illee ka jalqabaa isa kana akka guddatu illee ka barbaadu isa kana waan ta'eef yoo gara sitti cillaayfadheen irra laalinaa jechumaaf. So my name is Jamal Ibrahim. I think you can see everything on the dashboard there. The name Global Gumi Oromia was mentioned, and Dr. Guluma said that I have to introduce a little bit in Afan Oromo. So for those of you who may not understand Afan Oromo, I think that of Dr. Guluma would be enough. Hopefully this time will not be considered as part of my presentation. Global Gumi Oromia gaafa ijaarru sababa sadii fi ijaarre yookaan ammoo kaayoo sadii fi ijaarre tokkoffaa qabsoo qeerroo fi qarreen biyya keessatti deemsisaa jiran ummata biyya alaa jiru kana gamta tokkotti findeetiniin yaadaa fi diinagdeedhaan haa gargaaru kan jedhu tokko kana. Lammaffaan immoo tuyyuu Oromummaan tuni saba hawaasa keenya keessatti walqixa hubannoo gahaa waan hin qabneef Oromummaan kun dagaagdee hawaasa keenya keessatti namni martuu gosaa fi naannoo amantii waan achi Oromummaa gadi jiru jaalatee sanumarra gogoguu qofa otoo hin tahin sadarkaa sabaatitti akka Oromootitti Oromoon ufaa jaalatu waan jedhu. So Oromummaa kana babal'isuudha yaadni keenya. Babal'isu jechaan sadarkaa amantii, sadarkaa gosaa, sadarkaa naannoo, sadarkaa ilaalcha siyaasaa bira dabarree Oromummaan hunda caalaa akka jaalatamtu nama Oromoo mara biratti. That is the second issue. The third kan sadaffaa mootuyyuu nuti hegereedhaan ummata biyya qabaachuu deemu, ummata waliin bulu bulchuu deemu waan taaneef sirna cunqursaa mootummaa Itoophiyaati irraa dhaalame akkasumatti jaarmoonni kennallee fidanii akka hin dhufne akkuma Afrikaa keessatti jaarmoonni biroo biyya walabaa uumneerra jedhanii achiin booda uummanni isaanii immoo bilisummaa malee jiraatu. Oromoonis akka akkas hin taane sirna gadaa qabna, sirna dimokiraasii irratti yookaan immoo sirna bulchiinsa uummataa irratti hundaa'e Oromoo keessatti aadaan sun deebi'ee hammumarraa haa dagaagudha. Otoo biyya keenya Oromoon dhuunfattee harkatti hin qabatin akka Dr. Abiyyi Filammaa wajjin rakkatan kana otoo hin tahin Oromoon ammumarraa shaakalee gadatti deebi'ee walqixxummaa ilma namaa waliifis kabajee saba biraatis kabajee akka jiraatu kan jedhu. So this mission is still going forward. Faayee fagoodha jechaadha. Keessattuu Oromummaa namni martuu waan achii gadi jala jiru caalaa jaalatee ani Oromoodha ofiin jechuun ammas hin hafa hawaasa keenya keessatti. Bakka gosaa keenyaan namni iyyuu gamu gosaa deema jechaadha. Oromummaan almost abbaa dhabdi jechaadha bakka san yoo geenyu. Bakka amantii keenyaan namuu gama amantii ofii gala Oromummaan bakka sanis abbaa dhabdi jechaadha. Naannootti yoo deebinu naannoo ofiitti gala Oromummaan abbaan qabdu. What we want is Oromummaan akkuma naannoo akkuma amantii akkuma gosaa mara caalaa jaalamtee hundumaafuu gaaddisa akka taatu. Guddoon takka sana lammaffaa biyya bilisa mootummaa birmaduu fi uummata biyya walabaa qabaannee akka jiraannu barbaannaa kanneen jajjabeessuudha. Egaa kanarratti hundoofneetiniin Oromoon akka walitti dhufeetiin wajji hojjetu fedhiin keenya kan ture sana sumarratti dhaabaa har'aaf immoo mata dureen naa kenname culture aadaa Itoophiyaannet and Oromummaa jechi kun afaan lamaan jiraachi Itoophiyaannetiin afaan Oromootii miti afaan Moorraati yoo dhiise irra wayyaa jechaadhaaf afaan isaatiin barreesse inni kun immoo afaan Oromooti jechaadha. So my topic for today is culture, Ethiopianness and Oromummaa. This can take a long time to describe but let me just say a little bit few words. Culture, there are a lot of definitions about culture. Where I will address a little bit about characteristics of culture in any society, and then we'll address Ethiopian and Oromuma, how they can go together and how they are against one another, and then looking forward towards the liberation psychology, thinking. So before going into a little more into the cultural issue, as human beings, we all are born equal and free. Namni Oromo tokko Amara gadi miti, Tigre gadi miti, Faranji gadi miti, Gurracha fedef gadi miti, walqixa bilisa tahee dhalate. Namni bira na keessa waa kaahate aterra qabdee ebalu kanaafu fudhadhu yoo naan jedhe diduun ana bira jirte jechuudha. Abbicha na bira kaahate bira miti. So we all are born free, and we all as human beings we aspire to be the best persons on the world, as much as possible equal to the rest. And we all aspire, enjoy, respect human dignity, justice, freedom from all needs. Sodaan yoo namni tokko yoo sodaan irra jiraate nama sodaata tahe diinagdee hiyyummaa sodaata tahe wallaalummaa sodaata tahe is not free. Bilisaan bita namni kun biyya keenya keessatti bilisummaan dhufte jedhee warra odeessu jira. Guyyaa guyyaan otoo nama keenya ajjeesanu otoo hidhanu otoo biyyaa baasanu har'allee bilisummaan sun hin jirtu jechaadha. We all undergo or underwent sufficient or continuous mental and physical changes. Hundumti keenya iyyuu dhalannee haga guddannutti akka ilma namaatitti jijjiirama hedduu keessa dhufne. Ijoollummaa irraa kaanee haga gaafa guddannutti guddina kana keessatti we are in some way formed or deformed. Some way formed or deformed. Fakkeenyaaf Oromoon yeroo ammaa kanatti waa baay'ee irratti wal fixxi. Ani Itoophiyaadha moo miti? Ani Oromiyaa miti moo Tiyyaa miti irra wal fixaa jirti. All this is a consequence of psychology, development, culture, formation, and the deformation. So, maal jechuudha nature versus warri biology dhaa fi nature qoratu irra guddinni ilma namaa gaafa dhalatu predisposition, we have the capacity to learn. Capacities and dandeettiin genetics nu keessatti uume waa barachuudha. Garuu ammoo abbichi nu barsiisu kun waa inni nutti naqate yoo fudhanne hunduma isaatu gama abbaan nu barbaade oofachuu danda'a jechaadha. So, the problem I see amman kanatti yeroo kana keessatti ummata keenya keessatti wanni an argu ka gama dhumaa jiru kana individuals differ in intellectual performance, social and personality development, emotional development, individual temperament, emotional attachment, self-concept, self-esteem, and interpersonal identity. Ufillee mataa ufillee himuu irratti. Amma fakkeenyaaf biyya keenya keessatti nama Oromoo adda addaa gaafattan Itoophiyaa muummitii hojjettaniin gariin isaa akka intelligence performance haguma sadarkaa sanitti waan Itoophiyaa dhufin jedha. Gariin isaa immoo lakkeen Itoophiyaa miti jedha. Maaliif yoo jettiin nama biraattu natti fide malee ani Itoophiyaa kanan beekuus hin jedha jechaadha. So amma dubbiin guddaan deformation and formation duratti jenne sadii wajji waliin namni Oromoodhaa biyya keenya keessa yoo deemtan Itoophiyaa jechaa yoo hiikisaatu hin beeku. Uummanni baadiyyaa jiru. Maaliif ka isaatii miti waan ta'eef. Haa ta'uuti ammoo intellectualiin Oromoodhaa irratti wal falma. At Ethiopia, Ethiopian, for tactical reason, I am Ethiopian. Why? For tactical reason, if you are not. So, the being good done, Bakanamni deform in what I can of Bilisom Sukamana, a grand Dubin Demajirov. So, there are a lot of definitions about culture. You can see many people define it. And it is said in 1952, two anthropologists, they gathered about 164 different definitions of culture. 164. Okay. Culture is simply the collective programming of the mind. Yoo sammuu kan kee kana namni programma si godhate ati meeshaan kun duwwaa taateetumaan kama namni programma si godhate san mataa nama biraatiin deemte jechaadha. Har'aan kana Oromoo wanni irra wal fixaa jirtuuf maaliif? Dr. Abiyyi Itoophiyaa hin diigna jettan isin balleessaa. He is programmed that way. Inni kun ammoo tulakki Itoophiyaa keessa jiraattu malee hin ta'uu yoo jette taate ati iyyuu baduu qabdaa waliin jedha. That one is programmed also that way. Wanti nuti wal irratti wal dhabaa jirru kun hundumtuu iyyuu it is a thinking. Duratti Dr. Gulummaan asii jedhee jira. Warri atsee sirna atseetiin cuuphameetiin hangammaa mataan isaa atsummaa fi Itoophiyummaa atseen ijaarte jalaa bahuu dadhabe achuma keessa isin tiksa yoo diddan isin buruksaa isin jedha jecha. Warri kun ammoo lakki sirna atsee kanan fudhadhu maaf na buruksitaa jedha. In fact wal kadhaatu jira jechaadha jinaadhaan. Kan ammoo nun in ijaarre baay'isoo. Warri atsee akkas jedhullee nama biraattu mataa keessa kaa'e. He is deformed. He doesn't amma realize iyyuu godhu jechaadha namni keenya deformed ta'uu isaa kana jechaadha. Ammoo obboleessa ofii sababa san ajjeesuu deema. Obboleessa isaa dhiiga isaa mataa jedhanii deemet akkamitti Itoophiyaa didda jedhee ajjeesuu deema jechaadha. Nama biraa mootuu ka Itoophiyaa sanitti fide isaa wajjin aangoo hiratee wajjin jedhonna jechuudhaaf tattaafata. So these are the issues we have. Culture is simply an integrated, a complete whole. The knowledge, the beliefs, the arts, the morals, norms and values and laws, customs and habits of a society. So aniin kuni Oromoo tu na barsiise. Otoo biyya Ameerikaa guddadhee aniin kun anaa kanan ta'u. Otoo Saudi guddadhee aniin kun anaa amma argitan kanan ta'u. Aniin kun otoo mootuu Jaapaan na guddiftanii isaan argitan kanan ta'u. So I am the product of the society. Ilmi namaa martuu hawaasa irraa dhalate san keessa guddisan keessa. Twins, identical twins fuutanii tokko Ameerikaa tokko Saudiitti guddiftan akka tokkotti yaaduu hin danda'an. Ilmaan Oromoo jidduu garaagarummaan jirtu sababaan isaa bakka kan. Sababaan isaa namni biraa cuuphee of karakatti qabatee sammuu isaa isaan deemu. The oppressor within and the oppressor outside. Inni kun ammoo ka qaamaan alatti agarru amma Oromoo miilaan deemu kan. Inni sunii fi kamataa keessa jiru amaarii lammaffaa as keessa jiru san mo'achuu dadhabanii ammallee Finfinnee keessatti halkanii guyyaa namni duratti bookkisaa jechaadha. Otoo inni aangoo qaba Prime Minister biyya Itoophiyaati jedhamee ilaalamu Dr. Abiyyi irratti mootummaan kan kee kakijibaatii kun asitti kabiraa dhaabbanneerraa jedhaan jiru jechaadha. Inni sufurraa dhoowwuu hin danda'u maaliif mataan amaaraa as keessa ta'u sun yoo an kana godhe amaarri maal naan jedha jedhee sodaata. These are the problems you have. Kanarraa bilisa bahuu qabnaadha dubbiin ani deemuuf. So Ethiopian nothing hagamma haganu beinut as an idea it is non-African. Akka yaadatittu yaaduma Ethiopia jedhu kana Africa keessa jiru man Africa kan Ethiopia jedhu of beeku jiru Oromoon immoo sirumayyu warri keenya hagamma baadiyyaa yoo dhaytan jechuma Ethiopia jedhu waame yoo jettee nun danda'u. Biyya maaraatitti illee harki caalaan akkasuma jechaadha. Waan hin jirre fedanii mataa keessa kaa'anii intellectual Oromoodha har'aan kana an Ethiopia moo Ethiopia miti jedhee of gaafataa jira jechaadha. You have to stop this. Bilisummaa sammuu argachuu qabna jechaadha kan lafaa kan duratti Dr. Taddasaan Faa jedhan deeffachuudhaaf sammuun bilisoomuu qabdi. Itoophiyaa kana bilisoomuu qabdi. Itoophiyaan akka nu beeynutti hagamma Oromoon ajjeefti malee waggaa 150 kana guutuu guyyaa takka illee otoo ajjeesin hafteen beektu. Namni summiin si ajjeesu qoricha kiyya jedhu wallaalamu beekaadha. Waan waggaa 150 guutuu si ajjeesaa ba'e lakki qoricha naa ta'a jettee yoo yaaltu ati so qorichaa fi summii addaan hin beektu jechaadha. Therefore summiidha malee suusii malammaan jedhasanii Itoophiyaan. Itoophiyummaa jechaan wannaan isaa hiikkaansaa haga ammaa agargannetti waggaa 150 Oromoodhaaf ilaalcha doofummaa keessatti guutu uf wallaalchisuu dhamaasu akka inni uf hin beekne godhu aadaa ofii akka hin beekne godhu akka inni waliin jaalanne godhu akka inni waliin beekne godhu akka inni biyya isaan jaalanne godhu akka inni afaan isaan jaalanne godhu akka inni namooma isaan jaalanne gochuudha. Zaati Itoophiyummaa. Yoo karaa kana deemuu barbaadan jettan Itoophiyaan itti fufuu dandeenya. Oromummaan hoo dura madda walaabuu jechi jedhu kun Oromoo biratti yaada laafaa miti. Walabummaa walaba jechi jedhu kun waan laafaa miti. Is an independent thinking. Namni ilmi namaa uumaa isaatiin walaba jedhee yaada Oromoon. Maqaan isaallee ammoo Afrikaan alaallee dhufne yaada Afrikaatillee asirra dhaabinaan jedhaa jiru ni dhaabu. Kanaafuu Oromummaadhaa fi bilisummaan wal hidhamaadha. Bilisummaan sammuu, bilisummaan uumamaa waan inni nuu kenne walabummaan namooma ka akka ilma namaatitti yaadan wal hidhamaadha. Sirni Itoophiyaan jedhu kun immoo cunqursa saamicha ilmi namaa namaa gadi inni tokko gooftaadha inni tokko waaqatu muude kanaafuu inni gooftaa waan ta'eef jala buluu qabda kana si barsiisa Oromummaan kan hundarraa bilisa nu baafte. Kanaafuu iyyuu uf duratti deemne irratti maal jechuu barbaada at the end of the day aadaa Oromoo keessaa akkuma agartaniif olaantummaa ummata walqixxummaa olaantummaa seeraa walqixxummaa lammiilee walqixxummee dhiiraaf dubartii tika biyyaatiif nagaa dhaloota jidduu walqixxummaa kan hunda deeffachuudhaaf Oromummaa irratti ijaaramne baay'ee nu gargaara. Gumiin Oromiyaa addunyaa ilmaan Oromoo sirna cunqursaa sirna saamichaa sirna doofummaa kan abashaan humnaan sammuu keenya keessatti ijaarterraa of bilisoomsanii Oromiyummaa fi Oromoof akka dhaabbatan waamicha asumas ni godha fayyaa ta'aa ulfaadha.
I'm going to speak in English. As you can see, the title is The Necessity of Building Strong Oromo National Democratic Institutions and Organizations. I have a very serious question that I try to answer. That question is, why did the Oromo movement, particularly the Qarree protest movement, fail to achieve the main political objective of Oromo liberation? This is a very serious question that many people have been asking one another. To answer this difficult question, we need to know about institutions and organizations. What are institutions? Institutions are a very complex subject. I try to briefly mention two important points about institutions. Institutions are the rules of the game in society, which means you have, as a society, you have to establish rules on which you agree to live together. For example, a family is an institution. Family members should agree how to live together. Church are institutions. Church members should agree on what principles they should agree. There are many, I can list a lot of things. So there must be the rules of the game. If the rules of the game are not there, people cannot agree and work together. Another aspect of institutions is laws, norms, informal rules. These are very complex subjects. On one side, entities, on the other side, laws, norms, and values. So these are very important to understand institutions. What are organizations? Organizations are players in society. Institutions are broader. Organizations are subset of institutions. For example, the University of University of Minnesota is an institution. In the University of Minnesota, there is an administrative body. That administrative body is an organization. So these are two things are interconnected. So institutions and organizations are interconnected, but they are not one and the same. I try to explain these concepts so that you can understand what the subject matters that I'm going to explain. As you know, we were under Gada Sikh government. This government had democratic rules of the game that I mentioned to you before, democratic norms, democratic formal and informal rules, which regulated Oromo collective behavior. That's why Oromo as a people stood together to fight against their internal and external enemies, because they had the rules of the game. Consequently, the Oromo had a national organizational capacity to defend themselves from internal and external enemies. This kind of capacity was destroyed by Ethiopian colonialism that destroyed or suppressed Oromo national institutions and organizational capacity. What did the Ethiopian colonialism do to Oromo institutions? It imposed an authoritarian political culture that you have been listening many times, and it imposed its norms by destroying Oromo norms and the values. It imposed, it totally changed Oromo collective behavior, particularly Oromo elites. Oromo elites who have been domesticated in churches and different institutions, mosques and schools, have been domesticated so that they can take the Abyssinian norms, values that corrupted their mind, our mind, in fact, all of us. Consequently, Oromo leaders are fragmented and have failed to form a national coalition to build democracy to protect the Oromo national interest at this moment. It's very sad. Oromo elites, wherever you go, whether you go to church, you go to mosque, whether you go to political organizations, they don't agree. They are running side by side, they are conflict-ridden, they are fighting among each other, while the Oromo people are being destroyed, suppressed, and totally repressed. At this historical moment, it is very sad of our history. If we cannot solve this problem, we might not even survive as a people. Oromo institutions such as churches, mosques, and professional associations are fragmented, and they fail to build a strong Oromo national capacity. It's very important. I'm talking about not forming small institutions, not forming organizations that are running around, but that can bring people together on national level to build a strong capacity that can fight and defend the Oromo people, liberate them from land grabbing, killing, murdering people, from all those kind of things. Oromo elites today, Oromo elites lack knowledge. All of us lack knowledge and the capability to think and act in collective ways. We are not acting as a people together to solve our national problems. We are more interested in parochial, personal issues and act in fragmentary ways. Some people promote their personal interest more than above national interest. They are very much worried about their political power. They are very much worried about their personal gains at the cost of the Oromo national interest. The Oromo national struggle and the Qeerroo and Qarree-led movement have opened a new chapter for possibility of liberating our people and building democracy. However, two major roadblocks exist today. The first one is, as I already mentioned, the lack of Oromo national organizational capacity to dislocate the existing political structures that have been abusing the Oromo people for more than 100 years, including the present existing political structure. Second, Oromo leaders are chained by Habesha political culture and personal interest and lack a clear roadmap to build a united democratic organization. We need a united democratic organization to defend ourselves, to survive as a people. There have been people who have been destroyed because they didn't have national organizational capacity. I can list many of them around the world. The mentality and the behavior of Oromo leaders are problematic for building Oromo national organizational capacity at this moment. Despite the fact that many of the leaders have sacrificed their lives by engaging in the Oromo national struggle, Oromo political leaders have failed to establish the democratic rules of the game and the norms that are required to empower the Oromo people to determine their political destiny. They failed to come together and to discuss, to deliberate, to form an organizational capacity. In fact, it is very sad that when you look at Oromo history during the 16th century, the Oromo people met at the Madawalabu for 6 months. All Oromo sent their representatives. They deliberated for 6 months, decided how to build a national defense army, how to restore Oromo territories, and fought for more than many years to establish Oromia the way it is. But we generation of Oromo today, whatever role you play, we failed to build a united Oromo front that can build a national organizational capacity that defends the Oromo people to survive. It's a question of survival. The immediate challenge that is facing today is reshaping Oromo political norms and the behaviors for building national organizational capacity. Oromo leaders, we need to learn about Oromo democratic traditions in order to form national consensus through honest, open, democratic deliberation based on our democratic tradition. The reason why we build GGO is to experiment these ideas, to discuss, to sit down, deliberate, exchange ideas, gradually form a model for building a national organizational capacity. The fragmented Oromo national leadership should negotiate and collaborate on Oromo liberation project in order to advance Oromo national interest. We should not advance our group interest or individual interest. We should promote Oromo national interest. We have to subordinate our group interest, organizational interest, personal interest, Oromo national interest, so that you can survive. When we have our country, we can talk after our liberating ourselves, we can focus on individual interest. Without surviving, if you promote your individual interest at the cost of the nation, you are going to lose a lot of things. The Oromo leadership should start to formulate procedures, strategies, and tactics for building a national coalition. We don't lose hope The GGO tried to bring all Oromo protocol organizations for almost 1 year. We discussed with them, we theoretically agreed with us, practically they refused, and when they went home, they totally rejected or abandoned the idea of coming together. They start to promote their sectoral interest. That is, it's not good for Oromo, it's not good for them at all. All of Oromo organizations and all representative of Oromo civil and religious organizations must be included in building a national coalition. The national coalition needs to address 7 major issues. The first one is, as Abu Jamal was discussing about Oromuma. We need to further build the national Oromuma based on the Oromo experience, diverse Oromo experiences, so that all Oromo experience included in national Oromuma. Second, we need to overcome political commercialization and the fragmentation to create a national coalition from all political organizations and institutions. Political commercialization is a very dangerous thing. Many Oromo elites are engaging in political commercialization to accumulate wealth, to promote their own interests at the cost of the Oromo people. We have to carefully watch everybody who are doing that. Building political alliances with other peoples who are interested in the principle of national self-determination and egalitarian multinational federal democracy. 4, creating and building Oromia Defense Force based on the Oromo Gada tradition. We don't need to disarm. We want to arm our people so that Oromia can have its own defense force. Expanding the national leadership capacity by mobilizing and the active participation of Oromo women and the young people. All Oromo young people should be mobilized and join the movement. 6, enabling the current assembly of Abagadas to be an independent entity without being subordinated to anybody so that they can defend the Oromo national interest. 7, helping the Kero and the Karre movement to maintain its unity and the unity of the Oromo nation. There are 6 major points that I would like to make in conclusion. First, protecting what the Oromo struggle has achieved up to now. We have to protect that. Second, maintaining and the commitment of that our people are expressing and the leadership of Kero and the Karre to achieve popular sovereignty, statehood, and egalitarian democracy. 3, agreeing to create a democratic rules of the game based on acceptable national norms, behaviors, and values that reflect SAFU and Oromo democracy in order to advance the Oromo national interest. Building a strong national organizational capacity, stopping Oromo political commercialization, creating and building a national coalition from different Oromo political and civic organizations on Gada principles. Thank you very much.
Okay, we will only allow 2 questions, so we will pass the microphone. Can you? Right after you, behind you. Kulani.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much for your presentation. GGO. I don't want the GGO to be added to the litany of failed efforts. And what I heard seemed to be that way. And if we focus on that one and say how we are going to do that? For example, resuscitation of the Gada has happened already. We know it is alive, but we just glorify that one. Now we need to rehabilitate it. That means the functional parts should be rehabilitated, and we need to redeploy it. And what you have been suggesting is the redeployment of it in practical terms. So as scholars, would you please put a timeline and say this is when we start the resuscitation program, and that these are the steps we take to do that, and then when are we planning to deploy it?
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Okay, let me just say a few things and pass. Gaaffiin dhiifama naa godha siree loo dubbadhe afaan Ingiliziitiin dubbadhe wal keessa makuun irra ture hundumaaf akka ta'utti amma immoo isa deebisuuf afaan Oromoon dubbadha. Gaaffiin caalaan isaanii gara obboleeyyan kootti adeemanii ani garuu obbo Tafariin waan isaan jedhan gumiin akka inni kaayyoon isaa fiixaan ba'uuf maaliif gadaa resuscitateii gochuu irratti fookasiin goonee gochaa jirtu ta'e immoo taayimlaayinii isaa kan jedhu jira. Wanti nuyi yaanne wanti nuyi jalqabaa irratti hojjechaa jirre ammas jirru gadaan karaa baay'eetii deebi'ee fooyya'ee lubbuu godhatee guddachaa jira. Unu duwwaa miti warra gumii kana walitti qabaa ture ammas immoo bal'isee dubbachaa jiru utuu hin ta'in biyyattis akkuma argitanii waa'ee gadaa wanti hin beekamiin kan ture maqaan isaa wakka hin dhaamne kan godhame ture amma baay'ee fooyya'ee ijaaramaa jira. Abbaan gadaa gadootii ta'anii assembilii qabu. Cimina qabuu mootummaa dhiibbaa mootummaa fi wanirraa ba'anii jedhanii hojjechuu danda'an jedhu gaaffii biraadha. Garuu kan du'ee ka'e yookaan immoo du'a bira ga'ee deebi'ee takkaadhaan baay'ee humna guddaa hin godhatu ittuma horataa deemuu jennee yaanna. Inni nu ejjennu karaa gumii kunis immoo sanuma kan cimsuudha. Yeroo sana obbo Tafariin illee hin beektu. Warri iddoo yeroo kun dhaabbatutti hin argamne dokumentii isaas immoo hin dubbisne gumiin kun caasaa baay'ee qaba. hundumti isaanii cimanii ejjechuu hin jalqabne garuu caasaa baay'ee qaba akka nuti yaadnetti tokkoffaa globaliidha. Global yeroo inni immoo Oromiyaa isin hin qabataa jechaadha. Qobaadhumatti nuyi isaan irraa cinnee wanta ejjennu miti. Wal gargaaruudhaan yaada waliin hiruudhaan kan ejjennuudha. Caasaan adda addaa suni hundinuu ejjechuutu irra jira. Kana yeroo ejjennu immoo moodeeliidhuma gadaa ture kan beeknu kan memoriidhaa fi barumsaan kan qorannee beeknu sana hojiirra oolchuudhaan resuscitationii utuu hin ta'in cimee bal'achuu akka inni danda'u konseptiinsaa fi piraktisiinsaa wanti ittiin hojjetamuuf yaadni isaa moodeliin sun akka inni bal'atu gochuudhaaf. Gadaan hammam cimina qabu saba Oromoof kan inni institutionii guddaa ture wanta wal amma haasofnu miti. Beeknaa jechaadha akkuma beeknu itti fudhannee bira dabarra. Garuu amma immoo waa'een Oromiyaa kun eessa taati mataa ishee dandeessee mootummaa taatee jiraatti yookaan immoo siistema federaalaa jiru kana fooyya'ee siistema dhugumame federaalaa ta'e keessatti jiraatti waan jedhu jira. Waan fedhe yoo ta'u dhumarratti federaalis jiraatte mootummaa mataa ishee taatee jiraatte ani karaa kootti kan hin amanu Oromoon gadaan seenaa isaa keessatti waan hojjeteef institutionii bara baay'eef uummate waan ta'eef fooyyessee akka barbaadutti ittiin jiraachuu danda'utu irra jira. Gatamuun irra hin jiru. Yoo seenni federaalaa sun Oromoon keessatti illee haftee wanni mataa kun opinion mataa kun isin ilaachaa jira kan kun gumiidha wanneedha miti. Yoo federaala sana keessatti illee turtee federaaluma sanaan hojjetti illee ejjenna walii galla taane warra kaanii wajjin. Oromoon kuni aadaa kootii kuni akkan ittiin buluu akka yookaan achi immoo isaaniyyuu fudhatanii seera baasan sana isa ba'ee jiru sana ittiin fooyyessuu fi konseptii gadaa ilaalaa bara nama baay'ee bakkeedhaa fidanii kan konstitutionii biyya baay'ee Speen eessa kan ta'u federaalii kan qaban Indiyaaf adeemanii qoratan yeroo isa konstitutionii amma jiru kana baasan. Nam tokko waa'ee gadaa kan qoratee konseptii gadaa kan qabu keessa galchan jiru. Populationii hammamtu percentage ta'uudha immoo kan constitutionii kanaan jiraachuu fedhu. Biyyattiinumaaf hun gargaara ture utuu gadaa yaadatanidhanii konseptii isaa modeelii isaa incorporateetu godhaniiru ta'e constitutionii keessa hin goone. Ammas gara fuulduraatti hin fooyya'aa ta'e waluma jiraachuu waliin jiraachuun hin jiraata ta'e amma Oromoon garuu baratee lakkii gadaan keessa galuutu irra jira jechuu danda'a. Konseptiin gadaaf moodeliinsa kanarraa kanaaf immoo akkuma isin jettanii ofiisaaf qabatee hansaa ittiin buluudhaaf garuu wanti isa dhoowwu hin jiru mirga isaati sanaaf adeemuutu isarra jira kan jirudha. Gaaffii warri kaan yeroo isaan jalaa baay'ee fudhachaa jira obboleessi koo duruba sana kan gaafate gumiin akka waan dhaabbolii politikaa adda addaa wajjin walitti hidhamee jiruutti kan jiru shakkii wanta qaban natti fakkaate yookaan dhagaan natti fakkaate nuti isin dhageenya kana waggaa lama dura yeroo kana gumiin uumamu oduu guddaatu ture bal'ate oduu sana immoo kan odeessan isinitti ifatti oduu sana kan odeessan ani abbaa isaanii tokko lamaan hin beeku kan odeessan garuu warra baay'ee waa'ee gumii diskaashinii isaa waggaa tokko caalaa kan fudhate warra beekanidha. Akka inni eenyuttuu ni dhabni beeku. Dhaabni politikaa Oromoo jiru kan jedhamu hundumti isaanii ripireezentaatiivii isaanii qabannee waggaa tokko caalaa wajjin dubbanne torban lama yeroo inni Minisootaa dhufuuf hennuu baay'een isaanii keessaa luqqa'anii ba'an. Torban lama sana gidduutti wanta goone hin qabnu. Waan duraa wajjin dubbachaa ture waan wal amansiifne irratti ejjennee hojiirra oolchina koottaa wal duukaa hundi keessan koottaa ripireezentaatiivii keessan ergadhaa. Seera isaas wanta barbaannu isa nuun taane keessaa baafne isa kaanitti daballa konsensisiidhaan ejjenna akka aadaa gadaatti jennee torban tokko yeroo ta'u luluqaanii keessaa ba'anii maqaan sun immoo laatamuutti ka'e. Gumiin ammas obboleonni koos itti dabaluu danda'u. Gumiin ammas eenyuttuu hidhamee hin jiru. Yaadni keenyas kana miti. Konsensisii Oromoo uumuudhaaf kan yaadame kanaaf yeroo keenyas baay'ee sitti balleessine ammas taanaan kanumaan jechuudhaaf kan fedha qabnu galatooma.
Galatoom Dooktar. Kan Dooktar Mo'aa irraa jalqaba namni difoormii ta'e yookaan ammoo wanti difoormii ta'e too deebi'ee difoormii ta'uu hin danda'a kan jedhu there is a possibility natti fakkaata. sirna mootummaa Itoophiyaa keessatti Oromoonni hedduun hirmaatanii jiru. Sadarkaa jeneraalaa kan ga'e fakkeenyaaf Jeneraal Taaddasa Birruu ni beekna. Sirnichi sun akka isas hin baafne akka Oromoos hin baafne waan beekeef when he made personal experience of the system bilisa tahee deformation irraa gama Oromummaatti deebi'ee jira jechaadha. Probably Dr. Abiyyi Fanammaa kan amma jiru innis akka experience itti wattaadaralleedha koloneela. When he makes the real experience of the Oromo, yoo dhugaadhaan gaafa experience godhe akka Dr. akka Jeneraal Taaddasa Birruu fa'aatti amaarritti kaatee jirtu iyyuu Oromummaatti as deebi'uun isaanii mala jedheetinii yaada. So he has to make the experience first. Na fakkaata. Bilisummaan achirraa jalqabdii beeku dubbin. The other thing is warra fuulduraati. Ani wanni yaada kana kaasuu fi waa'ee aadaa wanni kaaseef warra addunyaa kanarraa galaa jiranii fi miti. Ijoolleen keenya warri lafaa dhufaa jiran dargaggeeyyiin keenya maatiin warra ijoollee guddifnu waan namni nu keessatti cuupheetu otoo hin ta'in Oromummaa keenya kan dhugaa ani nama Somaaliyaati jedheen dubbadhu yookaan immoo Soomaaliyaan hin jedhu, Keeniyaan hin jedhu, Sudaanis hin jedhu, Eritiriyaan hin jedhu, wallama keenya san jiru. Maaliif jarri sun dhiibbaa akka amma Amaarri nurra keettee, Habashaan nurra keettee, isin Itoophiyaadha nuun jettee waan nutti nu miniif maqaa sanii nuuf waaman jirru. So we have to make ourselves independent. Akkuma Keeniyaa irraa walaba sammuun keenya, akkuma Somaaliyaa irraa walaba, akkuma Eertiraa irraa walaba, Itoophiyaa Amaarri nutti cuubesan irraa illee walaba ta'uu qabna jechaadha. That is my message. Messaging kiyya guddaan waan namni si keessatti cuube ka'atiin tahin ani isa jettee na fayyisa jettee waan waggaa 150 guutuu si ajjeese qoricha naataa jettee hin yaalin because it has been killing you for over 150 years, 7 generations, 8 generations, it will not be a cure. That is my message. Kan biraa ka kanaa wajjii walitti hidhamu dhiiroo ilmi namaa addunyaa kanarratti wama lama hawwa. Economics and the dignity of humanity. Qabeenya meeshaa jechaadha, material desire ilma namaa qabeenya qabaachuudha. Inni lammaffaa immoo akka namaatitti kabajaa qabaatee jiraachuudha. Ilmi namaa qabeenya illee gaafa irraa saamte namoomaaf jecha ni du'a. Remember, maaliif qabeenyaaf jecha loon illee harreen illee fardi illee maalin illee ni jiraata. What differentiates human being from other animals is not the economic part. It is the mind. Namoomni namaa kabajaan gaafa inni qabu akka harraa fardee nyaate akka sirnama Itoophiyaa keessatti yoo ikonomii guddifne ilmi namaa walqixxa gaariidha jedhanii yaadan sana otoo hin tahin nama ta'uu kiyyaan kabajaa yoo qabaadhe an dhugaan ilma namaati yookaan harree fardaa walqixa jechaadha. So it is not the economic part which really differentiates humanity from other animals or other living things. It is the spiritual, it is the human dignity that we have to seek. Nuti Oromummaadhaan cabnee mallaquma keenya saamanii deebisanii lafa nu gurguratanii lafa Oromoo irraa buqqisan Oromoo tokko kennanii kabajaa qabna jettanii yaadina zaasnoo bilisummaa kijiba suni harree fardaa walqixa ta'uudha. Otoo abbaan qalamuu, otoo abbaan biraa ajjeefamuu, otoo abbaan saamamuu akkuma harree fardaa nyaataaf dhugaatiif deemuudhaan walqixa. Kanarraa bilisa ofaa goonuudha yaadni kiyya. That's my message. So, I'm sorry. Okay. Kan waa'ee achi hasan gaafa dabaluu fi barbaada. By the way, ani warra gumii calqabe keessa hin jiru. Yeroo gumiin calqabamuu warri calqaban jara kanneenii fi warra mootu boodarra olola san oofe. Ani manguddummaadhaan jidduu seene jara gaafa wal dhaban. Gaafa jidduu seeneetiin egaa araarsineen booda yanni mirtuu wajjin haa hojjetu egaa jenneen booda gariin jara OPDOtti galuudhaaf waan cillaafataa turaniif ani clearly isinitti hima dhoksaa takka malee. Waan gama OPDOtti galuudhaaf cillaafataa turaniif 2020 elekshinii keessatti OPDOodhaan keessaan aangoo qabanna jedhanii waan hawwaa turaniif yaanni walabummaa bilisummaa maal jedhu kun hin taaneef. I'm telling you. Waan kun hin tahiniif maal jedhanii warri gumii jedhamu kun warra shanee walitti hidhame, warra Arsii jibbu, warra Islaama jibbu, warra Harargee jibbu ololli kun calqabe jechuudha. This is just trash propaganda. Jara keenya nuti shaneefillee kophatti hin tumsinu. Eenyuufillee jaarmoo tokkoofillee kophatti ka tumsinuuf hin jiru. Akkuma duratti jedhe Oromummaan jaarmootaa oli. Oromummaan gosa tanaa oli. Oromummaan amantiidhaa oli. So nuti jaarmayni Oromummaadhaaf hin tolle akka jiraatuun barbaannu ka fedhe haa ta'u. Jaarma Oromummaadhaaf tolu barbaanna waan ta'eef wanni akkasii ilaalcha akkasii hin jiru. We are free from that. Isaanuyyu akka waltaan akkuma Professor Jaalataan jedhe waggaa tokko guutuu itti ifaajaa baane gaafa Abiyyi Faati aangootti dhufan jedhan takka takkaan luqqaanii galan. Takka takkaan araaramuuf eega qophaa'an hin boode jechaadha. In May we had an appointment to come together with them gaafa apriilii gaafa inni aangoo qabate hundi isaanii lukaanii gariin isaanii amma OPDO irra caalaa ta'uudhaaf wal dorgomaa jiru. Anatu irra OPDO dhaggechaadhaaf wal dorgomaa jiru. This is very wrong. So I'm sorry hin dheere sirriitti fakkaate hin gabaabsaa. Kan takkitti wanni ise I'm done. I have to stop this. So OPDO ta'uudhaaf wal dorgomna. Kan biraa ka OPDO illee waa isinitti dabala. Gumiin OPDO illee toon hafin akka isaan gama Oromootti dhufan tattaaffii guddaa goone. Xalayaa ufatti uummatatti hin bahin xalayaa sadi barreessineef. To the Prime Minister, to the Oromia President. Kan publicitti hin bahin. Kan isaan qaban kan isaan ofiisaalota isaanii itti kennine kanam isaanii itti kennine. Maaliif? Oromoodhaan walitti deebi'anii koalishiniin jabaan Oromoo naannoo sanitti akka dhalatu waan barbaannuuf isaan irratti illee specifically duulaan jiru nu hubadhaa. Yaada difoormitta isaan keessaa bilisa haa bahanii barbaanna malee isaan kun akka namaatti obboleeyyan keenya diinatu harka qabatee deemaanii jira uummata keessanitti as deebi'a waliin adamsinuu Oromoon adamsinaa jedhaanii jirra malee waan saying jara kana fixuu qabna ajjeesuu qabna jedhaan jirru. Lammaffaan ammootuyyuu yoo agartanii jiraattan waggaa ji'oota dabre kana keessa erga rifoormiin dhufe jedhanii gumiin yeroo 7-8 ol jaarmoota biyya galaniifis uummata biyya keessa rakkataa jiruusis sagalee takkittiin xalayaa barreessitee isaanittis ergitu. Kaammoo addunyatti illee baaftu nu qofa. Warra hundumayyuu kiisii kahanne jedhanii yaadaa jiru isaan. Kun sirrii miti jara keenya uummanni kennallee nuti ka barbaannu sirni dimokiraasii haqaa ka walqixxummaa ilmaanaas irra hundaa'e waan ta'eef jaraanis qajeelaa haa jennu wal qajeelchineetiin saba tokko taanee haa deemnu fayyaadha ulfaadha dhiifama. Dheeres.
Yeah, okay. Jarri lamaanuu akka gaariitti deebisanii gara waan xinnoo ishee jechuun barbaada. Nuti wanta gadaa kana waan fudhannee kaaneef muuxannoo bara dheeraadhaan qorannoo bara dheeraadhaan godhameen wallaansoon Oromoo keessatti takkiin sooshaalizimiin takkiin dimokiraasiin tiraayidii ta'e jaarmaan Oromoo yeroo bara baay'ee godhatanii anumtillee kanan keessatti hirmaadde akka barataattis biyya keessa waan ture keessatti hirmaadde kun hundumtuu yeroo muuxannoo Oromoo wajjin ilaallee jennu akka hin hojjenne nu barre. Kanaaf wallaansoo gadaa deebisee ijaaruu kana tokkoffaa riseerchii bara dheeraa beekumsa bara dheeraa irraa kan ka'e lammaffaa muuxannoo uummata keenya hubachuudhaan akka uummati keenya sirri kun tochoosuu danda'u kan hubanneefitu gadaan kun akka deebi'u barbaanne. Awu kana goonu dubbiin kun salphaadha jennee amannee miti. Dubbiin kun dubbii cimaadha. Mataan Oromoo karaa baay'een qabamee jira. Mataan qabame kun qoosaatti keessaa hin ba'u. Wallaansoo guddaa gonaa kun karaa keenya garuu murteeffannee karaan sirriin Oromoon akka uummataatti ol ka'ee adeemu Oromummaa isaa kan inni tiffachuu danda'u namni tutturorri sun abbaa biyyaa ta'ee kan inni jiraachuu danda'u sirna gadaa kanaan hin deeme sirni gadaa akkuma sirriitti himee the rules of the game bara baay'ee fuuldura waggaa kuma meeqa fuuldura the rules of the game akka seeraan bulan akka itti of ijaaran waanta qabaatee ka'eef qorannoo biyya lafaa kanan godhe irrattan arguu hin dandeenye waan sirna gadaa caaluu danda'u. Kanaaf wanti kanarratti warri amannee kaanee karaa danda'ame hundumaan deebinee ijaarra kan jennu. Innaa unumatu ijaara jennee yaadne gowwoomsu ta'a. Nuti yaaduma kaafne kan itti dabalamee ijaaruu danda'u warra akka Botafarii fa'i namoota baay'ee warra fedhii qabu itti makamee hojjeta malee namni 2-3 ijaaruu danda'u waan tokko. Oromoon miliyoonii meeqa kan tochoosuu danda'u kan hojjechuu danda'u nama Oromoo dargaggeessa jaartii jaarsa hundumaa kadhatee ka'e rakkoo guddaan tokko nutti fide kana bashaan nu qabde akka nuuf ijaarre akka nuuf tuffannu akka gara deemnutti dubbii kaafnee ollaaqaa oolu kan nu godhe waa'ee OPDO irratti dabala gadaan eenyu tokko illee hin jibbu warra OPDO'n progressive elementiin OPDO kee jiran akka isaan uummata isaaniif hojjetan nuti sinijjin haasa'uudhaaf sinijjin mari'achuudhaaf kan jedhu karaan keenya bal'aadha. Nuti jaarmaa Oromoo nama tokko illee diina godhachuun barbaannu akka isaan ol bira ta'anii akka ijoollee Oromootti mari'atanii dhimma isaanii of keessatti fudhatanii eega ofii isaanii cimsanii immoo warra kaan ijjiin seera irratti hundaa'ee the rules of the game calluma nanii abala fayyadu Oromoodhaan isa jala deeman miti. Oromoo ta'ee waa inni baatee deemu baay'eetu jira. Garuu kan amanuu dandeenyu nuti the rules of the game seeraan buluu seeraan jiraachuu waan akkasirratti waan yaada keenya hundaa'ee fi nama hundumaan hawwannaa warra OPDO keessaallee akka isaan sirna gadaa fudhatanii dhimma Oromoo hojiirra oolchuu barbaadanii waamicha gooneerraa fi ammallee goonaa fi hojiin haasa'uudhaaf illee qophee akka isaan dhimma Oromoo irratti babba'an jajjabeessina isaaniillee galatooma.